Chapter 2364. Lan Kong was shocked. He roared and unleashed his full power, launching a move at Lu Ming. However, Lu Ming threw a punch and Lan Kang's attack was destroyed. The terrifying fist force was like a storm, blasting towards Lan Kong. Gotcha! Lu Ming's fist landed on Lan Kang's fist. Lan Kang's fist exploded, turning into flesh, blood, and bones that flew everywhere. The surging fist force didn't stop, bombarding Lan Kang's body. Lan Kong screamed and his body flew hundreds of miles away, breaking a mountain peak. Lan Kong had just broken through to 4-star Great Emperor. Lu Ming was too far behind him. He could completely crush him. How is this possible? How is this possible? Lan Kong shouted hysterically, and his body was retreating crazily. At the same time, his aura erupted without any concealment, alarming the beings of the heavenly realm in the distance. In the distance, the living beings of the heaven realm discovered the commotion and rushed over. From afar, they saw a shocking scene. Lan Kong was being chased by Lu Ming. Everyone save me. Lu Ming is filled with hatred and wants to kill me. Lan Kong roared. A faint smile hung on Lu Ming's face the entire time. He walked towards Lan Kong at a steady pace. Didn't Lan Kong want him to know what despair was? Then let him taste what despair is. What? The beings in the distant heaven realm were dumbfounded and had expressions of disbelief. Lu Ming wanted to kill Lan Kong. Didn't Lan Kong already break through to 4-star Great Emperor? How did he end up like this? How was this possible? Scream, scream. Let's see who can save you today. Lu Ming remained calm and unruffled, slowly approaching Lan Kong. Lu Ming, you can't kill me. I've broken through to 4-star Great Emperor. I'm the main force in fighting against the evil god tribe. You can't kill me. If you kill me, everyone in the heaven realm will die. Lan Kong shouted crazily. You're really stupid. Without you, all the people in the heaven realm will die? Where did you get your logic? Are you treating me like a decoration? Lu Ming spoke with a strong sense of mockery. Lan Kong was tongue-tied. With Lu Ming's combat strength and Lan Kang's help, he would be able to annihilate the evil god tribe by himself. In the distance, the people from the heaven realm stopped, and even changed their direction to avoid Lan Kong. That's right. Lu Ming was the only hope now. With Lu Ming, they could get out of here alive. As for Lan Kong, he could go to hell. Everyone, Lan Kong has been targeting me time and time again. Just now he even ran to kill me. Tell me, should I kill him? Lu Ming looked at the heaven realm beings. Damn it. Such a despicable person deserves to die. Immediately, someone spoke up. He looked at Lan Kong with a look of disdain, and then bowed to Lu Ming in an attempt to please him. That's right, he should be killed. If it wasn't for the fact that my cultivation level is low, I would have killed him long ago. That's right, that's right. The others chimed in. What a joke. Now that Lu Ming's ability far exceeded Lan Kang's, they needed to rely on Lu Ming to survive. Naturally, they would rely on Lu Ming. As for Lan Kong, what was he? You guys, Lan Kong roared, his eyes filled with despair. Boom. Lu Ming threw a punch. The terrifying force of the punch crushed toward Lan Kong like an avalanche. Bang. Lan Kang's body was like a broken sack, flying far away and hitting a mountain peak. He spat out a large mouthful of blood, and his breath was extremely weak. Now do you know what despair is? Lu Ming stood on top of Lan Kang's head and said coldly. Lan Kong continued to spit out blood, the despair in his eyes growing stronger. At this moment, he was not only worried about his own life, but also for the Lan family. Lu Ming was too abnormal and he had great luck. Before they entered the Void Island, Lu Ming's abilities were only about the same as Lan Mo's. It would take a lot of effort to defeat Lan Mo. But now, he had only been on the island for 2 years, and Lu Ming's strength had soared to such an extent that he could suppress a 4-star Great Emperor. This was simply shocking. 2 years passed in the blink of an eye for a Great Emperor. A Great Emperor would need tens of thousands of years to break through a realm, or even hundreds of thousands of years. However, Lu Ming had grown to this level in just over 2 years. If he continued to grow, the Lan family would definitely be destroyed. At this moment, he really wanted to tell the Celestial Varch of the Lan family that the patriarch of the Lan family should bury the hatchet with Lu Ming and resolve their grudges. If he could not resolve it, He would have to get rid of Lu Ming at all costs. Otherwise, in a few years, the Lan family would be the one to be destroyed. Unfortunately, he was destined to never bring these words out. "Let's go," Lu Ming said coldly. He took a step forward and a terrifying power exploded, drowning Lan Kong. Lan Kong dead. Then Lu Ming kept Lan Kang's storage ring. He scanned it with his spiritual senses and found an array disc in Lan Kang's storage ring. "Who else has a formation plate? Give it to me." Lu Ming's gaze shifted to the living beings in the heaven realm. "I have it. I have one." 2 beings from the heaven realm walked out, each holding a formation plate. In this way, Lu Ming had 4 array discs in his hands. It seems like the other formation discs are in the hands of the evil god tribe. "It's time to leave this place," Lu Ming muttered. He then looked at Emperor Notionless and the other 2 with a smile. "Deans, let's make a trip to the alien races." "All right." Emperor Formless and the other 2 were excited. Lu Ming immediately took the lead, and they headed in the direction where the alien races were gathering. Lu Ming went to kill the alien races. "Let's go and take a look." "Haha, we can go out now." The beings in the heaven realm were overjoyed and quickly followed behind Lu Ming. Soon, they arrived at the place where the foreign races gathered. Buzz. Buzz. A figure flashed in front of them. Nearly 100 alien races gathered together and looked at Lu Ming and the others. "Ants from the heaven realm, you've finally come. Let's have a showdown." "I'm not afraid," an extremely burly member of the evil god race said coldly. The aura around him was extremely shocking, and he was equivalent to a 4-star great emperor. Bang. Bang. Lu Ming did not stop at all when he arrived. He stepped on the void and walked toward the alien race. A little brat is actually so bold. He's really looking for death. "Let me kill him." A skinny alien with 4 arms dashed toward Lu Ming. This alien race was known for their speed. In a few flashes, he had disappeared from his original spot. The next moment, 4 sharp lights suddenly appeared beside Lu Ming and slashed at his vital points. However, Lu Ming just stood there as if he did not know that someone was attacking him. Just as the 4 streaks of light were about to land on Lu Ming, he suddenly stretched out his hand and grabbed at the air. All of a sudden, all the sharpness disappeared, and a shocking scene appeared. Lu Ming grabbed the alien's neck with one hand. Chapter 2365. Lu Ming clasped the alien's neck with one hand. The alien was like a baby, struggling madly. His legs, limbs, and arms were constantly waving. His face was flushed and his eyes were bulging. "A 2-star great emperor can't even withstand a single blow," Lu Ming said calmly. Hiss hiss hiss. The heavenly realm was still fine, but the non-humans gasped. A 2-star great emperor with astonishing speed was as vulnerable as a baby in Lu Ming's hands. How was that possible? Everyone's pupils contracted, including the 4-star great emperor. "It seems like you're the one who broke through to 4-star great emperor?" the 4-star great emperor said. Lu Ming smiled faintly and did not comment. It was normal for the other party to think that he was that 4-star great emperor. Other than a 4-star great emperor, who else had the strength to easily take down a 2-star great emperor? Not even 3-star great emperors. Bang. Lu Ming's palm burst with force and killed the skinny alien. On the side, Emperor Formless Huntian and Skyfire Emperor sighed. Unknowingly, Lu Ming had already grown to such a level. Killing a 2-star great emperor was as easy as crushing an ant. This was a 2-star great emperor. In the Yuan Mountain, he would be the overlord of a region, a figure who was high and mighty and could suppress all directions. Then let's fight to the death. The 4-star great emperor non-human stepped forward. A battle axe appeared in his hand, and a powerful aura burst out. "I don't want to play with you guys anymore. Let's end this," Lu Ming muttered. The muscles on his body suddenly trembled. Buzz. Lu Ming's figure burst out at a speed so fast that no one could react in time. In an instant, he was in front of the 4-star great emperor. Why would one? The non-human 4-star great emperor's pupils suddenly contracted, and he was almost scared to death. Then he used all of his power to defend. Boom. Lu Ming threw a punch and the overwhelming force of his fist blasted toward the alien in front of him. Bang. The foreign being's body was sent flying, and a large hole appeared on his body. He spat out a large mouthful of blood and his aura was weak. He had been severely injured by Lu Ming in one move. Run! The other alien races reacted, and were almost scared to death. Then they turned around and ran. They understood that they had met an opponent that they couldn't defeat. Even a 4-star Great Emperor had been injured by a single move. If they were to face him, they would only die. Kill. Lu Ming let out a long hiss and charged forward, his fists constantly blasting out. A series of fist forces streaked through the air, and headed toward the demonic humans. A few 3-star Great Emperors among the alien races were hit by Lu Ming's fist force. They were killed immediately and exploded in the air. Kill. Emperor Formless roared as he charged toward the alien race with Huntian Emperor and Skyfire Emperor. Let's attack together. The other beings in the Heaven Realm also roared and charged toward the outsiders. They could only leave after killing all the alien races. This was a matter of life and death, so they had to use all their strength. This was a massacre without a doubt. Lu Ming seemed to have entered a no-man's land. His figure flashed continuously. Every time he flashed, a few alien races were killed by him. He then put away the alien race's storage rings. You can't escape. Lu Ming fixed his eyes on the 4-star Great Emperor. This alien wanted to escape, but he was severely injured by Lu Ming and could not escape at all. Lu Ming rushed forward and killed the alien in 2 moves. After putting away the alien's storage bracelet, he turned around and attacked the other alien races. The alien races ran for their lives, but they could not escape. Lu Ming and the rest caught up and killed them one by one. A moment later, all the alien races at the scene were killed by Lu Ming and the rest. Take a look and see if there are any formation discs in their storage bracelets. Lu Ming instructed. He took out the storage ring that he had obtained from the alien race and checked it. Without a doubt, Lu Ming had the most storage bracelets. He had a total of 50 to 60 of them. In the end, he found 3 array discs. As for the others, they had found a piece. The 8 array discs were complete. That formation spirit said that we have to kill the other side before we can leave. There might be some alien races that have escaped and are hiding somewhere. During this time, you should search everywhere and find them, Lu Ming said. The others nodded. Now Lu Ming was undoubtedly the most powerful person. The others naturally obeyed his words. The Heaven Realm beings split up into groups of a few, and spread out to search for the alien races that had escaped. Of course, Lu Ming could not be bothered with such matters. He found a place to cultivate and comprehend the laws in peace. Now that the Samsara Law and Primordial Chaos Law had both reached the 3rd realm, Lu Ming began to plan on comprehending other ultimate laws. Next, Lu Ming chose the Eternal Law and began to comprehend it. The more laws he comprehended, the more successful Lu Ming's comprehension of the laws became. It was very smooth. A few days later, he had reached the beginner level of the eternal laws. Time passed day by day, and in the blink of an eye, 3 months had passed. In the past 3 months, the people of the Heaven Realm had searched the entire area. As expected, there were some alien races that had escaped the net, and they had found and killed them one by one. Now they were certain that no one from the foreign tribes had escaped. At this time, everyone gathered and flew towards the door that they had entered from. They had just arrived when that young formation spirit's figure appeared. I didn't expect you to complete my request so quickly. How boring. That formation spirit sighed. Everyone's hearts jolted. This formation spirit wouldn't go back on its word and make some strange requests, right? You won't go back on your word, will you? Lu Ming asked. Of course one won't. Although I'm bored, I'm a man of my word. Take out your array discs. The formation spirit said, curling its lips. Lu Ming waved his hand and 8 array discs appeared. The formation spirit extended a hand and pointed. A ray of light flashed, and the 8 formation discs started to shake. They emitted a brilliant light and flew towards that door. Then they flew into the door and actually fused together with it. Gotcha. The door opened. Everyone was ecstatic. Let's go. Someone was overjoyed and rushed out first. This time, there was no resistance. That person rushed out of the door and disappeared. Go, go. The rest of the people, including Lu Ming, Emperor Formless, and the others, also rushed toward the gate. When they rushed out of the door, they found that they had already left the giant tower and were outside. It's so boring. The formation spirit's voice came from the giant tower. Then the door of the giant tower closed. Deans, let's go, Lu Ming said and left the place with the 3 deans. The others also left the place. Following that, Lu Ming, Formless Emperor, Huntian Emperor, and Sky Fire Emperor headed towards the depths of the island. Roar. However, they didn't fly very far before an earth-shaking roar came from the front. The entire world shook as a terrifying aura spread out. Chapter 2366. With a roar, the sky changed color and the earth shook. A terrifying killing intent spread from the front. Lu Ming, Emperor Notionless, Huntian Emperor, and Sky Fire Emperor's expressions changed drastically. That was because the roar was so terrifying that it made people's hair stand on end. Buzz. And NBSP whoosh. Following that, Lu Ming and the rest saw streaks of rainbow light flying over at high speed from the distant sky. They were all flying over from the depths of the Void God Island. There was an expert in each of the rainbow lights. Each of them was very terrifying, and none of them was weaker than Lan Kong. This meant that these people were all advanced great emperors. Some of them had extremely terrifying auras, which made Lu Ming feel apprehensive. Peak Emperor. Lu Ming could tell that a few of them had already reached the Peak Emperor realm. There were Heaven Realm beings and evil God race beings among them. But now these people seemed to have encountered something terrifying and were fleeing at high speed. Roar. Another roar came from the depths of the island. Then a huge creature appeared in the sky. A giant white tiger stood on the ground. Its back was taller than the mountains. With a roar, the mountains exploded. Even though they were far away, Lu Ming and the others could feel a terrifying pressure coming from it. Could it be the white tiger, one of the legendary divine beasts of the 4 directions? Emperor Formless cried out in alarm. What? The divine beasts of the 4 directions? The expressions of Lu Ming and the rest changed drastically. The 4 divine beasts, the 4 legendary divine beasts, the azure dragon, the vermilion bird, the white tiger, and the black tortoise. It was said that the 4 divine beasts were very ancient divine beasts in the heaven realm. They were extremely powerful and were no weaker than the top 10 battle beasts. They were on the same level as the top 10 battle beasts. There were legends of the divine beasts of the 4 directions everywhere. There were even divine beasts of the 4 directions that appeared, but those weren't the 4 of them in the legends. They only had the bloodline of the 4 divine beasts. Now could it be that one had really appeared? Impossible. The true divine beasts of the 4 directions aren't any weaker than the top 10 battle beasts. Although this one is powerful, it's not that powerful. Lu Ming's expression changed. Roar. The white tiger's roar was like thunder. Its 4 limbs stomped on the ground, causing mountains to collapse and rocks to shake the sky. Its huge body rushed towards the fleeing experts. Its eyes turned silver, and 2 silver sword lights slashed out. A shrill scream was heard. An existence that was at least a 5-star great emperor was killed by the 2 sword lights in the air. He couldn't resist at all. Let's go. Lu Ming roared, turned around, and ran away with Emperor Wuxiang and the rest. However, the people behind them, as well as the white tiger, were astonishingly fast. The distance between them was constantly closing. How unlucky! Lu Ming, Emperor Notionless, and the other 2 sighed in their hearts. They had just escaped from the formation, and they had already encountered such a terrifying white tiger. They were truly too unlucky. We don't want to go in the same direction as those people. Emperor Formless called out. There must be a reason why the white tiger was chasing those people. They immediately changed their direction and rushed to the side. It was risky to do so. Once the white tiger set its eyes on them, it would be easier for it to catch up to them. However, they had no other choice now. With their strength, they couldn't outrun the 5-star great emperors, 6-star great emperors, and even peak great emperors. If he continued to run and was caught by the white tiger, he would probably be killed with a single slap. They could only take the risk. They had made the right bet. The white tiger let out a long roar and did not target them. Instead, it was chasing after the few strongest experts. Lu Ming and the rest did not stop. They ran for a distance before they stopped. At this moment, The white tiger had already run far away, while chasing the others. It seems that the white tiger has its eyes on the strongest people. I guess those people have offended the white tiger. Huntian Emperor speculated. I didn't expect that there would be such a terrifying white tiger on this island. This white tiger's strength is definitely above the great emperor realm. Could it be an existence of the heavenly emperor realm? Emperor Wuxia said. Their expressions were grave. Heavenly emperors could not enter the island. If the white tiger was really at the heavenly emperor stage, it would be terrifying and invincible. Immediately, they left the place and headed into the distance, wanting to get as far away from the white tiger as possible. However, a few hours later, their expressions changed drastically. That was because a shrill cry came from ahead. It was extremely sharp and pierced through time and space. A large group of people ran for their lives. Some were from the heaven realm, and some were from the evil god race. And behind these people, a huge phoenix spread its wings and chased after them. Vermilion bird. Lu Ming and the other three looked at each other, their voices hoarse. First he saw the white tiger, and now he saw the vermilion bird. Could it be that the four divine beasts had all appeared? Let's go. Without any hesitation, the four of them turned around and ran. This time, they were experienced and ran in the other direction. As expected, the vermilion bird was specifically targeting the strongest group. Not long after, they successfully escaped. The white tiger and the vermilion bird have both appeared. What's happening in the depths of the island? Lu Ming and the other three were full of doubts. Next, they found a hidden place to hide. For the next few days, they would hear terrifying roars from time to time. It was only after a few days that the roars disappeared. At this moment, they came out of their hiding place and met some experts. Many of them were advanced great emperors. They asked the other party, and as expected, they knew a lot. In the past few years, the great emperor of the heaven realm and the great emperor of the evil god tribe had been wandering around the Void God Island, killing and searching for treasures. Even though the Void God Island was huge, it had been almost completely searched over the past few years. Some time ago, everyone had discovered a hidden place. That place was suspected to be the core of the Void God Island, and it was very likely to be the place where the master of the Void God Island would truly preach his Tao. This discovery was amazing. The master of the Void God Island was a figure who should have surpassed the heavenly emperor. If this was really the place where he taught Tao, he would probably have an incredible opportunity. Many powerhouses gathered and planned to enter the place to explore. However, there were four terrifying divine beasts guarding the place, which were exactly the same as the legendary divine beasts of the four directions. However, their combat strength was not as strong as the four legendary divine beasts. They should have barely reached the heavenly emperor realm. Even if they managed to reach the heavenly emperor realm, they were not something that a great emperor could fight against. The four divine beasts went on a rampage, causing a large number of experts from the heaven realm and the evil god tribe to fall. The remaining people were chased around by the four divine beasts. This was the reason why Lu Ming and the rest had encountered that scene earlier. Right now, the four divine beasts are roaming in the depths of the island. All the experts have retreated to the depths of the island. They don't dare to go in anymore or it'll be extremely dangerous. A high-level great emperor sighed. Lu Ming sighed in his heart. Originally, after his battle prowess had improved greatly, he had planned to go to the Void God Island to try his luck. It seemed like he could only cancel this plan and stay in the outer region of the Void God Island. There must be some opportunities in that core area. Right now, there are many experts hiding in the outer regions of the Void God Island, waiting for an opportunity to strike. The expert left another sentence and then left. Chapter 2367. Lu Ming could only give up on the idea of entering the Void God Island. They found a hidden place and hid, planning to cultivate in peace here. To Lu Ming, who was at his current stage, it was a great opportunity for him to comprehend the laws here. It could save him a lot of time. Even if he could not get any other opportunities, Lu Ming was satisfied. Lu Ming was comprehending the laws in peace, while Emperor Formless and the others were focused on refining the fragments of the Great Tao, hoping to take a step further and become 3-star great emperors. Time passed day by day. During this period, Emperor Formless, Huntian, and Sky Fire Emperor would take turns to go out and gather information and investigate the current situation. Right now, on the island, whether it was the Heaven Realm beings or the foreign race experts, they were all like them. They had all hidden themselves and did not dare to move. That was because there were 4 terrifying godly beasts in the depths of the island. 2 of them were guarding the core area, while the other 2 were wandering around. Once they discovered any living being from the Heaven Realm or the evil god race, they would immediately start a massacre. Therefore, it was impossible for those powerhouses to have any ideas about the core area. As for Lu Ming, he cultivated in peace and did not care about anything else. To Lu Ming, the Void Island was more useful than any cultivation sanctuary. Where else could he find such a good cultivation sanctuary after leaving the Void Island? However, there was one thing that Lu Ming would not forget. That was the Celestial Emperor's corporeal body. Previously, in the giant tower, Lu Ming had killed a large number of evil god tribe members. There were 50 to 60 of them. The evil god race's storage rings were all in his hands. These evil god race members were all Emperor Realm figures. There were large amounts of black crystals in their storage rings. Furthermore, they were of extremely high quality and contained powerful energy. Although it was difficult for the beings in the Heaven Realm to absorb these crystals, the Celestial Emperor's body could absorb and store energy. Lu Ming diverted some of his attention to control the Celestial Thearch's physical body to absorb the energy of these crystals and store them. Just like that, time flew by. Spring went and autumn came. 5 years had passed in the blink of an eye. This could be said to be the longest closed-door cultivation Lu Ming had ever done since he started cultivating. Lu Ming had gained a lot from this closed-door cultivation. Lu Ming had cultivated the Eternal Law, the Void Law, and the Space-Time Law to the 3rd level. However, the remaining 2 of the top 10 laws, the Law of Fate and the Law of Cause and Effect, were very difficult to cultivate. The Law of Fate was extremely mysterious and difficult to grasp. Lu Ming had tried a few times but could not get a grasp of it. As for the laws of cause and effect, normally only people from the Buddhist faction could comprehend it. Buddhism emphasized the cycle of karma. Without that state of mind, it was very difficult to comprehend. However, Lu Ming had already cultivated the 8 types of ultimate laws to the 3rd realm. His comprehension of the laws had reached an astonishing level. With his amazing comprehension, Lu Ming had managed to gain a basic understanding of the laws of karma. Not only that, but Lu Ming had also comprehended other king path laws in the past 5 years. For example, Lu Ming had cultivated a total of 3 laws to the 3rd level, including the Law of Eternal Flame, the Law of Vajra, and the Law of Kings, which were required to cultivate the indestructible ancient scroll. Furthermore, Lu Ming had spent a lot of time to merge these laws and develop them into a divine power. In 5 years, not only had he comprehended 3 strongest nomological laws and 3 king path nomological laws to the 3rd realm, but he had also managed to turn them into divine powers. This was definitely impossible in the outside world. It would probably take more than 100 years. But here he had done it in 5 years. Now Lu Ming already had 17 types of laws and had reached the 3rd realm. The power of the 17 types of laws fused together was shocking. However, there was not much improvement in Lu Ming's combat strength. The main thing was that Lu Ming's current physical realm was too high. He could suppress a 4-star Great Emperor with his physical body alone. In the Great Emperor realm, the further one advanced, the stronger one was, and the greater the gap between them. However, nomological laws were just nomological laws. They couldn't be compared to the Great Tao, no matter how many nomological laws there were. Lu Ming might be able to rely on a large number of laws to challenge 1-star Great Emperors, or even 2-star Great Emperors. However, it would be very difficult to challenge them with laws alone as he advanced. Unless Lu Ming could use these laws to break through to the Great Emperor realm and evolve them into Great Taos, the power would increase dramatically. However, Lu Ming had no intention of breaking through to the Great Emperor realm now. At the very least, he wanted to cultivate all 10 of his ultimate maxims to the 3rd realm. He could even cultivate even more of his king path laws to the 3rd realm. When he broke into the Great Emperor realm, his Great Tao would be shocking. Lu Ming found it hard to imagine, and he was filled with anticipation. Therefore, Lu Ming estimated that if he went all out now, he should be able to suppress an ordinary 5-star Great Emperor, but he would definitely not be a match for a 6-star Great Emperor. As for the celestial thearch's body, it had absorbed a large amount of the evil god tribe's black crystals, and had been filled with energy a long time ago. That's right, the energy stored in the heavenly emperor's corporeal body had reached 100%. Now with the corporeal body, it was enough to compete with a peak Great Emperor. Buzz. At this time, a figure flickered over. It was Emperor Notionless. He had gone out to inquire about news earlier. With the return of Emperor Formless, Huntian Emperor and Skyfire Emperor also opened their eyes. Everyone, there's important news outside, Emperor Formless said hurriedly as soon as he returned. What news? Lu Ming was interested. During this period of time, the powerhouses from the Heaven Realm and the Evil God Tribe have reached an agreement. They plan to join forces to deal with the 4 divine beasts and enter the core area. Emperor Wuxia said. Join forces? The 4 divine beasts have reached the Heavenly Emperor realm. Even the weakest Heavenly Emperor is far more powerful than a Great Emperor. Even if the 2 of them join forces, they can't be a match for a Heavenly Emperor. The Skyfire Emperor was suspicious. That's right. However, this matter has already alerted the various celestial emperors outside the island. The celestial emperors here in the Heaven Realm are planning to send 2 Heaven Dao soldiers to kill the 4 divine beasts. Emperor Wuxiang said. Heaven Dao soldiers. Lu Ming and the rest widened their eyes in shock. What a huge investment, to actually support 2 Heaven Dao soldiers. Clearly, the various heavenly emperors outside the Void God Island place great importance on the core region of the Void God Island. It's said that the heavenly emperors borrowed them from a few peerless powerhouses. The heavenly emperor powerhouses of the Evil God Tribe also took out a few combat weapons of the same level to deal with a few divine beasts. Emperor Wuxiang said. When do we make our move? Lu Ming asked. In at most half a month. Right now, the Heaven Realm and the Evil God Tribe's powerhouses are discussing their plan of action. Emperor Wuxiang said. Lu Ming muttered to himself. In the end, he decided to make a trip. He couldn't miss the core area. The 4 divine beasts' combat strength had barely reached the level of a celestial emperor. If multiple peak Great Emperors activated the Heaven Dao soldiers, they might be able to kill the 4 divine beasts and enter the core area. Lu Ming's combat strength was not weak to begin with. His ability to survive was even stronger. Furthermore, he had the celestial thearch's physical body. It was not impossible for him to try his luck. Lu Ming, if you're going, you must be careful. Emperor Formless and the others warned. With Emperor Formless and the others' cultivation, they definitely couldn't go. Anyone below the level of a high-level Great Emperor would only be courting death. Chapter 2368. Next, Lu Ming and the rest ended their seclusion and paid close attention to the movements in the outside world. 10 days later, the Heaven Realm experts sent out a message, summoning all the high-level Great Emperors to gather and head to the core area. It wasn't that those experts were so kind as to share the benefits, but that they needed power. Even if they managed to kill the 4 divine beasts, they would still have to face the powerful beings of the Evil God Tribe later on. They had to increase their strength. Otherwise, they would probably be exterminated by the Evil God Tribe after they killed the 4 divine beasts. Lu Ming bade farewell to Emperor Notionless and the others and headed in one direction. After flying a long distance, they arrived at a mountain valley. This place was relatively hidden. When Lu Ming arrived, he realized that there were already many people gathered here. Over 300. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. He was somewhat shocked. There were already more than 300 Heaven Realm beings gathered here. This number could be said to be very shocking. One had to know that almost all the people here were advanced Great Emperors. These people were from all races. There were many humans and all sorts of divine beasts. Although most of them were in human form, Lu Ming could still sense them based on their aura. He is Lu Ming. As soon as Lu Ming arrived, someone recognized him and was shocked. Lu Ming actually dared to come here. One should know that those who could come here were almost all advanced Great Emperors. Could it be that Lu Ming already had the strength of an advanced Great Emperor? That was impossible. Most of the people shook their heads, thinking that Lu Ming was only here to try his luck. However, there were a few people who had serious expressions. This was because the news of Lu Ming easily killing a 4-star great emperor in the huge tower had spread. Some people had heard of this. Lu Ming arrived and walked to the side, waiting with peace of mind. As time passed, more and more people came. Gradually, the number exceeded 500. Suddenly, Lu Ming's eyes lit up. He saw a little Taoist looking around sneakily. If it wasn't Dandan, who could it be? Lu Ming's lips curled into a smile. Dandan had indeed come to the Void God Island. If there were any treasures, this fellow would definitely be there. Dandan. Lu Ming called out. Who is it? Dandan was shocked. She jumped up and scanned her surroundings. When she saw Lu Ming, she smiled and flew over. So it's you. What? You've broken through to the Heavenly Emperor realm. You dare to come here? Dandan smiled and her pair of sneaky eyes darted randomly at Lu Ming. Then her eyes widened and she said in surprise, Kid, what a strong chi and blood. You've cultivated an ancient body cultivator, so your physical body is shockingly strong. This fellow was indeed one of the top 10 war beasts. It was very knowledgeable and could tell some of Lu Ming's secrets at a glance. You've also improved a lot. Lu Ming laughed. A hint of surprise flashed in the depths of his eyes. Because in his eyes, Dandan's cultivation was unfathomable. Needless to say, this guy had probably reached the Great Emperor realm a long time ago, and he had even reached an extremely deep realm. Ha ha ha, then why don't you take a look at who I am? Dandan grinned. Of course, the two of them talked through telepathy to prevent their secrets from being overheard by others. The two of them hadn't seen each other for a long time and were chatting. In the end, the number of people who came here gradually decreased. 3 days later, more than 600 people had gathered here. They were all experts above advanced Great Emperor. Any one of them was an expert in a region. Everyone. At this moment, a group of people stepped out. There were about a dozen of them, and each of them had a deep and unfathomable aura. They are all peak Great Emperors. Dandan sent a voice transmission to Lu Ming, who nodded secretly. These people were probably the strongest group of people in the Heaven Realm. A burly man with a long beard, who looked like a lion, looked around and said, Let me introduce myself. 1 a.m. Hong Shi. After saying this, he paused for a moment before continuing, We'll talk about what we need to do now. In the depths of Void God Island, there's a place that's very likely to be the true Dao ground left behind by the island's owner. However, it's guarded by 4 divine beasts. The 4 divine beasts have the bloodline of the legendary divine beasts of the 4 directions, and their combat strength has barely reached the Heavenly Emperor realm. First of all, our goal is to get rid of the 4 godly beasts. 2 of them are guarding the core area, and the other 2 are patrolling outside. So, we only need to take care of 2 of them. They've been wandering around, so we just need to send someone to attract them. Send people to attract them? Many people's faces sank. It was definitely very dangerous to send people to attract the 2 wandering divine beasts. Who would be willing to go? Hong Shi saw through everyone's thoughts and smiled. You don't have to worry about this. We've already sent people out, and they're all experts in speed and life-saving abilities. They'll be enough to attract that divine beast for a while. As for the other one, I'll leave it to the Evil God tribe. This time we've discussed with the Evil God tribe. We'll deal with 2 of the 4 godly beasts on each side. Now that we've taken care of the one outside, we'll deal with the 2 godly beasts that are guarding the core area. Similarly, the Evil God tribe and we will each face one of them. In the end, we will enter the core area and fight for the treasures with our own abilities. Hong Shi said a long string of words, and everyone nodded, basically understanding. It's almost time. Let's go now. After Hong Shi finished speaking, he took the lead and flew towards the island. More than 600 powerhouses followed him. They had already sent people to attract the attention of a godly beast, so they naturally knew the safe route. Thus, they were extremely fast as they flew towards the Void God Island. They did not need to be afraid of encountering that godly beast. A day later, they had already arrived at the central region of the Void God Island. At this point, they slowed down. Not long after, they arrived at a mountain peak and looked into the distance. In front of them, there was an area that was misty as if it was covered by a thick fog. Even with their eyesight, they could not see through the fog. In the south, there was a huge arched door. This arched door was open, and from a distance, one could see a stone staircase behind the arched door. This is the core area. However, the fog is formed by a large array. We can't enter it at all. The only way in is through that arched door. However, as soon as we appear, the two godly beasts will also appear. Therefore, we have to deal with them first. Hong Shi explained. The people from the evil god race should have arrived by now. Oh, contact them now. We'll act together later, and take care of one divine beast each. A white-haired old man said. Then his figure flashed and he left the place. Not long after, the white-haired old man returned. The evil god tribe has arrived. We'll attack together in 10 minutes. The white-haired old man said. Everyone nodded and waited patiently. In the blink of an eye, 10 minutes had passed. Let's go, Hong Shi said. Everyone concealed their auras and flew toward the core area. In another direction, they saw a large group of evil god tribe members flying toward the land of fog. Chapter 2369. So many people. Many people's hearts sank. They realized that the evil god tribe had a total of 800 to 900 people, which was a few hundred more than them. The powerhouses from both sides quickly approached the core. Boom, boom, boom. Just as Lu Ming and the rest were about to reach the core area, there was a violent roar in the fog. The ground was shaking continuously. Then a huge creature appeared. It was a huge turtle. This turtle was even bigger than a mountain. It had a thick shell on its back, a dragon's head and a snake's tail. It was very similar to the legendary Xuanwu, one of the 4 divine beasts. Roar. The black tortoise let out a loud roar. It opened its mouth and howled, causing the ground to shake. Countless rocks actually squirmed and transformed into stone swords that slashed towards them. Heaven-worshipping Tao soldiers. Hong Shi shouted and waved his hand. A purple-gold combat sword floated out, emitting a shocking aura and pressure. 6 peak emperors attacked at the same time, injecting their Taos and world power into the purple-gold sword. The purple-gold combat sword let out a sword cry. It became bigger and bigger, and the sword cry was shocking. This was the Heaven Tao soldier. 5 to 6 peak great emperors working together to control the Heaven Tao soldiers might not be able to unleash their full power, but it was still terrifying. Buzz! The purple-gold combat sword trembled, and a faint pressure of the heavenly path spread out. At the same time, purple sword chi burst out, shattering the stone swords of Xuanwu. There were also some peak emperors who took out another Heaven Tao soldier. This time he had borrowed a total of 2 Heaven Tao soldiers. The second Heaven Tao weapon was a round bead that was as black as ink, but it was also extremely powerful. 7 or 8 peak emperors controlled the black bead, and crushed it toward the black tortoise. A dozen peak emperors controlled 2 Heaven Tao soldiers to attack the black tortoise. Roar. The Xuanwu gave a long roar and exploded out with a shocking aura. The ground continuously trembled, and rocks and dirt formed all sorts of attacks that attacked the 2 Heaven Tao soldiers, causing an intense battle to break out. Roar. At the same time, a dragon's roar rang out from another direction as an incomparably huge azure dragon appeared. Its body wriggled as it charged toward the evil god race with an overbearing aura. On the evil god tribe side, they also took out 2 combat weapons that were extremely powerful, and started to fight with the azure dragon. Boom, boom. On the Heaven Realm side, the 2 Heaven Tao soldiers erupted with terrifying power. This power had completely surpassed the level of great emperors, and entered the level of heavenly emperors. The 2 Heaven Tao soldiers struck out at the same time, instantly destroying some of the Xuanwu's attacks and blasting them towards it. Buzz! A purple-gold sword light slashed at the Xuanwu, but the Xuanwu moved its body and the sword light only hit the turtle shell, leaving a shallow mark. Such a strong defense. The people from the Heaven Realm all had ugly expressions. Boom! At this time, the black bead also came down, but the black tortoise still avoided its vital parts. When the bead hit the tortoise shell, the black tortoise only trembled a little and took a few steps back, but it was not seriously injured. At this moment, a wail rang out from afar. The Azure Dragon had been struck by the evil god race's combat weapon, and a deep wound had appeared on its body. The Azure Dragon was injured, and the evil god tribe had the advantage. Damn it, we're so unlucky to have encountered the Black Tortoise. Hungsha roared angrily, somewhat unwilling. It wasn't that the Xuanwu was stronger than the Azure Dragon. The difference in strength between the two wasn't that great. With 2 Heaven Dao soldiers, they should be able to suppress or even kill the other. However, the Black Tortoise's defense was too strong. The Black Tortoise was known for its defensive power. The Black Tortoise's defensive power was far above the Azure Dragon's. It had a tenacious vitality and was even more difficult to deal with. Before they made their move, they were afraid of encountering the Black Tortoise. They didn't expect to really encounter it. Everyone attacked together. Hungsha roared, calling for everyone to attack. Kill, kill. All 600 of them were advanced Great Emperors, and their combined attacks were shockingly powerful. Beams of dazzling light shot toward the Black Tortoise. However, the Black Tortoise's head and limbs retracted into its shell. All the attacks landed on its shell, and only a violent boom could be heard. The Black Tortoise was completely fine, and it couldn't break through the other party's defense. A dozen Peak Emperors controlled the Heavenly Dao soldiers to attack, but they were also blocked. However, as soon as the Heaven Realm's people stopped attacking or their attacks weakened, Black Tortoise would immediately counterattack. With Black Tortoise's strength, he was a great threat to them. Not far away, the Azure Dragon wailed as another wound appeared on its body. The Azure Dragon's defensive power was far inferior to the Black Tortoise's. It was retreating step by step, and it was only a matter of time before it was defeated and killed. Ha ha ha, this treasure land will belong to us. Ha 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 ha. The evil god tribe members laughed out loud, extremely carefree. As long as they killed the Azure Dragon first and entered the core area first, the treasures in the core area would be theirs. Let's attack together. The evil god tribe also called for everyone to attack together. With 800 to 900 high-tier Great Emperors attacking at the same time, it was simply enough to destroy the world. Instantly, the Azure Dragon's injuries became even more severe. Wounds kept appearing on his body, and his aura became weaker and weaker. He was becoming less and less of a match. Damn it. On the side of the Heaven Realm, many people were roaring in anger. If this continued, they wouldn't be able to get anything at all. Wouldn't the evil god race benefit from this? No matter who it was, the evil god race was the last to benefit. Looks like I'll have to personally make a move. At the side, Dandan spoke. Lu Ming's eyes lit up. Dandan was the divine turtle of the world, one of the top 10 war beasts. It was also a turtle, and it was at the peak of the turtle species. Even the real Xuanwu was only comparable to Dandan, not to mention that this one only had some of the bloodline of the real Xuanwu. Dandan soared into the sky, and his body underwent a drastic change. He turned into a giant turtle, and his body grew larger and larger, almost filling the entire sky. The turtle shell was covered with mysterious patterns, as if it was a world. Junior, why aren't you kneeling after seeing me? Dandan looked at the Black Tortoise, and a huge pressure pressed down on the Black Tortoise. The Black Tortoise's eyes were filled with shock and fear. This was the fear of a lower person facing a higher person. Although Dandan's cultivation base was not as high as the other parties, the divine turtle of the world was definitely at the top among all turtles. Attack. At this moment, Hong Shi and the others seized the opportunity and controlled the Heaven Dao soldiers to attack the Black Tortoise. The Black Tortoise was intimidated by Dandan's aura. Its mind was shaken, and its movements slowed down a lot. Suddenly, its head was hit. The purple-gold Heaven Dao soldier was extremely huge, and the entire blade was inserted into the Xuanwa's head. The defense of the Xuanwa's shell was amazing, but its head and limbs were very weak. They were weaker than the other godly beasts and were its vital points. The Black Tortoise's head was pierced and it was severely injured. It wailed in pain. Chapter 2370. The others immediately seized the opportunity to launch a fierce attack. Boom! The huge black bead pressed down and hit the Xuanwa's head, causing it to be even more injured. Following that, the Heaven Realm experts' attacks also landed on the wound on Black Tortoise's head, causing him to suffer even more injuries. Roar! The black tortoise wailed, and finally, its huge body directly crashed toward the crowd. Everyone's expression changed. The black tortoise's desperate counterattack was so powerful that if they were hit by it, they would definitely be crushed into pieces. Everyone quickly made way. The black tortoise took this opportunity to shrink its 4 limbs and head into its shell. Then, like a ball, it rolled into the distance and escaped. Everyone looked at each other. They didn't expect the black tortoise to escape directly. They thought the black tortoise would protect this place with its life. Perhaps it was the effect of the world turtle. Everyone's eyes looked at Dandan as they guessed in their hearts. The black tortoise might have been frightened by the divine turtle of the world, and was seriously injured, which was why it escaped. Dandan had been adventuring in the heaven realm over the years, and many people already knew his name. Haha, the black tortoise has escaped. Let's go in. Someone laughed and rushed toward the arched door. Damn it, damn it. The people from the evil god race roared in anger. They had thought that they would have the upper hand, but they didn't expect that the heaven realm would have the upper hand instead. Kill, kill, kill. The people from the evil god race were anxious and attacked with all their might. In an instant, the injuries of the azure dragon became even more serious, and even its dragon claws were cut off. Lu Ming and the rest had already arrived at the entrance. The arched door was extremely huge, and was at least 10,000 meters tall. The few hundred of them could easily pass through it. Their eyes were burning with passion as they charged into the arched door. At this moment, Dandan had already transformed into her human form. Together with Lu Ming, she also rushed into the arch. Behind the arched door was a mountain. In front of them, there was a stone ladder that led to the top of the mountain. As soon as they entered the arch, they immediately felt a terrifying pressure. This pressure was similar to the pressure in other places on the island, and could suppress the heavenly Tao. However, it was even stronger here. In other places, they could still fly, but here, they found that they could not fly, and even walking was difficult. Bang! Bang! Someone took a step forward and climbed up the stone stairs with great difficulty. Since he couldn't fly, he could only walk. Lu Ming and Dandan also climbed up the stone stairs. The pressure was too strong, and their walking speed was very slow. Only the peak emperors were the fastest and climbed up one step at a time. Some of the 4-star great emperors were as slow as a snail. Lu Ming's speed was above average among these people. Lu Ming, you can't keep up with your speed. Dandan took a few steps and her speed was no slower than peak great emperors. Dandan, you've reached the peak great emperor realm? Lu Ming asked. No, I'm a 6-star great emperor, but am definitely not weaker than them. Dandan said with confidence. Everyone used all their strength to climb up, but not long after, the evil god tribesmen still rushed in. Clearly, they had also dealt with the azure dragon. 800 or 900 evil god race members also started to climb, but they were also under great pressure. However, some peak great emperors were still very fast and kept moving forward. Soon, they surpassed the 4-star great emperors of the heaven realm. What's that? A statue. After walking for a while, they saw a body at the end of the stone stairs. It was obviously a statue. The statue was of a middle-aged man. Although it was just a statue, it still had a domineering and supreme aura. That pressure seems to be coming from that statue. Lu Ming's heart stirred. He really did have this feeling. It was as if the pressure was coming from that statue, and it was even spreading across the entire island. After a while, the peak emperor of the heaven realm who was at the front had finished walking the stone stairs. He walked to the top and disappeared. Everyone became anxious and climbed with all their might. A moment later, Lu Ming finally reached the end of the stone staircase at the top. There were also some peak great emperor experts from the evil god tribe who were similar to him. At the end of the stone stairs was the peak of the mountain. However, there was nothing there except for a statue. The statue exuded a terrifying pressure. The dozen peak great emperors from the heaven realm, who were the first to step onto the stone stairs, stood under the statue with dark expressions. Boom! Boom! Here the pressure was even stronger. Every step he took would cause the ground to rumble. What's going on? What did you get here? An expert from the evil god tribe was forcing an expert from the heaven realm to answer. There's nothing here. Other than this statue, "There's nothing else here." A peak great emperor from the heaven realm said. "There's nothing." The evil god tribe's expert's face turned dark. They had borrowed the Heaven Dao soldiers and spent a lot of effort to come here, but in the end there was nothing. It would be strange if they looked good. This statue, what kind of race is it? As for Lu Ming, he was sizing up the statue curiously. He could now confirm that the terrifying pressure that could suppress the heavenly Dao on the entire island was coming from this statue. It was just a statue, yet it was able to emit such a terrifying pressure. It was truly shocking. Needless to say, this statue was most likely carved of the master of the Void God Island, that supreme existence. In fact, it was even carved by that supreme existence himself. Moreover, the statue looked very strange. This statue was in the form of an adult. It was a handsome middle-aged man. However, there was a pair of snow-white wings on his back. The wings were full of snow-white feathers, and when they were spread out, they were full of pressure. He pressed his hands on the hilt of a huge combat sword, which was stuck in the ground. Could the master of this statue be a bird-type divine beast? Lu Ming made a guess. That's not right. Normally, if a divine beast leaves a statue, it will leave a statue of its divine beast body. However, a human-shaped creature with wings like this one will not leave a statue like this. One speculate that this existence's body looks like this. Dandan said. The original body is like this? There doesn't seem to be such a race in the heaven realm, and the primordial realm. There shouldn't be such a race in the evil god tribe either. Lu Ming was full of questions. Maybe it's a race that has appeared in the past countless years, or maybe it's from another world. No one knows if there are other worlds in the world besides the heaven realm, the primordial realm, and the evil god realm. Dandan said. Other worlds. Lu Ming's heart trembled and his imagination ran wild. While they were chatting and observing, more people climbed up the stone stairs and looked around curiously. Unfortunately, he gained nothing. There was really nothing on the peak of the mountain other than this statue. After half an hour, everyone from the heaven realm and the evil god tribe had reached the top of the mountain. They stood on both sides and were on guard against each other. Chapter 2371. The two sides confronted each other and were on guard, but they did not make a move. Right now there was nothing here. If they were to fight later and not get anything, wouldn't it be a loss? Perhaps this statue has a secret. After a while, someone spoke up and stared at the statue again. There was nothing here other than the statue. If there was a chance, it could only land on the statue. It'll break him. A cold voice rang out as an extremely burly member of the evil god race stepped out. In his hand was a battle axe that was as black as ink, but it exuded a terrifying sharpness. Heaven Dao soldiers. Everyone was shocked. 10,000 Daos returning to one. Be it the nomological system, the ancient cultivation system, or the evil god race, all of them would come into contact with the heavenly Dao at the end of their cultivation. In other words, after reaching the heavenly emperor realm, the various systems were actually very similar. The Heaven Dao soldiers contained the Heaven Dao and were the supreme divine weapons shared by all systems. The supreme weapon used by the evil god race was also the Heaven Dao soldier. Help me. The muscular evil god race member looked at other members of the evil god race. Instantly, 5 to 6 members of the evil god race walked out. They were all peak great emperors. A total of 7 peak great emperor experts from the evil god race were controlling the battle axe at the same time. Buzz. The battle axe trembled violently, revealing its sharp edge. The aura of the heavenly Dao emanated from it, causing everyone to feel a huge pressure. But at this moment, a sudden change occurred. The battle axe, which had been growing rapidly, seemed to be frightened by something and began to shrink again. Finally, it became the size of an ordinary battle axe and fell to the ground. There was no tyrannical aura at all. It was like an ordinary axe. Everyone was dumbfounded. The pressure here is too strong. The chi of the heavenly Dao from the Heaven Dao soldiers is being suppressed by the pressure here. Some people speculated. Everyone was shocked. It was very likely that this was the case. The pressure on the Void God Island was supreme and transcended the heavenly Dao. It could suppress the heavenly Dao and prevent heavenly emperor realm existences from entering. And here, The pressure was extremely strong. It was normal for it to be able to suppress the Heaven Dao soldiers. The expressions of the experts who had borrowed the Heaven Dao soldiers turned unsightly. They had originally wanted to use the Heaven Dao soldiers to suppress everyone and take the top spot, but now, they couldn't use the Heaven Dao soldiers at all, and could only rely on their own strength. The eyes of those who didn't have Heaven Dao soldiers lit up. For Lu Ming and the rest, without the Heaven Dao soldiers, they had nothing to fear. HMPHJ, I want use RHE Heaven Dao soldiers. I'll still chop you up. 11 die. One of the evil god race members hollered in anger as he brandished a huge metal rod and charged up, smashing toward the statue. The metal cudgel grew rapidly, becoming tens of thousands of meters long. It was extremely shocking, shattering the void and smashing towards the statue. The evil god race member who attacked was a peak emperor. Boom. The huge metal rod smashed onto the statue's head. The metal rod shook violently, but the statue was completely fine. Not even a trace was left behind. It's so hard. Many people were shocked. A peak great emperor's full power attack had the power to destroy the heavens and earth. But this statue was completely fine. Look, the statue is reacting. Suddenly someone shouted. Everyone's eyes lit up. The statue had indeed reacted. Previously, this statue seemed to be carved out of an ordinary boulder. The material seemed to be very ordinary. But now, a layer of milky white light appeared on the statue. It was holy and pure. Whoosh! All of a sudden, the milky white light transformed into a sword light that pierced through the sky. Its target was the evil god tribe member, who had just attacked the statue. The evil god race member was shocked. However, being suppressed by the terrifying pressure here, his speed had become extremely slow. There was no way for him to dodge at all, and he could only take it head-on. Boom! He swung the iron rod in his hand again. The iron rod pierced through the void and headed toward the milky white sword light. However, the result was unexpected. The sword light flashed past, and with a pu sound, the metal rod was directly sliced apart. The sword light did not stop, and continued on toward the evil god race with an unbelievable speed. Blood splattered everywhere as the evil god tribe member's glabella was pierced through by the sword light. His eyes were wide open and filled with disbelief, but he was no longer breathing. His soul was destroyed. A single strike had destroyed the evil god tribe's soul. Many people gasped. This was a peak great emperor, but he was killed just like that without any power to resist. Nor good. Many people were shocked and retreated frantically, afraid that they would end up the same way. However, after killing the evil god tribe member with the sword light, it dissipated on its own, and the milky white light on the statue disappeared without a trace. It was as if the light had appeared to kill the evil god tribe. He couldn't be humiliated. This statue was a statue of a supreme existence that could not be humiliated. The evil god race members who had wanted to use their Heaven Dao soldiers to attack the statue were all drenched in cold sweat. Buzzle right at this moment. The statue emitted a slight vibration, causing everyone's hearts to suddenly shake and be on tenterhooks. Then, everyone saw the eyes of the statue change. At this moment, the eyes of the statue were no longer made of stone. Instead, they had turned into two vortexes. His left eye was milky white. His right eye was pitch black. In the next moment, light extended from each of the eyes and turned into two paths. Two paths, one to his left eye and the other to his right eye. Why did the eyes of the statue suddenly turn into two paths? Could it be that there was something else in the eyes of the statue? The treasure is inside? Many people started to think. The left is the path of life, the right is the path of death. Life can be death. Death can be life. Choose one between life and death. Suddenly, a voice rang out from within the statue. Everyone was shocked. It seemed that this statue was not as simple as it seemed. It seemed to know that they were coming. Two paths, one to live, one to die. Everyone's eyes flickered as they examined the two paths. It was very likely that there was an opportunity inside. This was an opportunity left behind by someone who surpassed the heavenly emperor. How precious would it be for such a supreme being to be able to craft Heaven Dao soldiers? Even if they left behind some trash, it would probably be an unimaginable treasure to them. Many people's eyes were filled with greed. However, for the time being, no one made a move, because no one knew if there would be any danger on the two paths. On the path of life and death, life could be death, and death could be life. No one could figure it out, so they all wanted others to go first. The crowd fell silent and looked at each other. Finally, someone couldn't take it anymore. He gritted his teeth and stepped forward. This was a god beast from the heaven realm, and he headed toward the path of survival with his left eye. The result was unexpectedly smooth. He stepped onto the path and nothing unusual happened. When he reached the statue's left eye, he took a step and entered the milky white vortex, disappearing. Chapter 2372. There was no abnormality in the left eye, and they entered smoothly. This made many people's eyes light up. With the first there would be a second. Then another person walked towards the safe path in the left eye. It was an expert from the evil god tribe. Just like the previous one, he entered the milky white vortex in his left eye and disappeared without a trace. More and more people entered the left eye. However, there were also some people who had doubts. Was it really that easy? Then what was the point of the other path? Lu Ming and Dandan had the same idea. Only by putting yourself in death's door can you obtain a great opportunity. I'll walk the path of death. Someone spoke, his eyes flashing with madness. He stepped forward, actually walking towards the path of death. Many people looked at this person. They all wanted to see if the path of death would really lead to death. Bang! The man stepped onto the path of death. His body trembled violently, and his face turned pale in an instant, as if he had suffered a heavy blow. Then, with a scream, his body flew backward and fell heavily on the ground, spitting out a large mouthful of blood. But he didn't die, he was still alive. What's on the dead end? Someone immediately asked. Pressure, extremely heavy pressure, bombarding the body and soul. The man only said one sentence before he immediately sat down cross-legged and began to heal his injuries. Pressure? In that case, it's not necessarily a dead end. As long as we can withstand that pressure, a dead end is also a way to live. Many people's eyes lit up. From then on, some people headed for the path of death. This was because many people thought that the path to survival was too simple. There might not be any benefits in entering. Perhaps, the great opportunity would be on the path to death. Following that, more and more people continued to walk towards the path of death. However, the right eye's dead end gave off an astonishingly strong pressure. Those who stepped on it were all sent flying, making it difficult for them to climb up. I'll do it. A burly member of RHE evil god race bellowed in anger as he stepped forward, stepping onto the path of death. Bang! Bang! Every step he took caused a violent tremor. His entire body trembled. It was obvious that he was under great pressure. However, he gritted his teeth and did not stop. He slowly approached his right eye. In the end, the man walked to the end. He took a step forward and his body entered the vortex in the statue's right eye, disappearing. It was a success. Finally, someone managed to enter the right eye. It seems that a 6-star great emperor should be able to enter. Lu Ming muttered. The evil god tribe member just now was a 6-star great emperor. Then more and more people stepped onto the path of death. However, it was impossible for anyone who wasn't a 6-star great emperor to step onto it. Only a 6-star great emperor could step onto it. Lu Ming, which path should we take? Dandan sent a voice transmission to Lu Ming. Naturally, it's the right eye's dead end. Lu Ming said. Can you do it? 11 Dandan pouted. Try it and you'll know. Lu Ming smiled. Bang. With that, Lu Ming stepped forward, heading towards the right eye's dead end. Boom. And NBSB the moment he stepped on it, a terrifying power acted on his body, penetrating every part of his body and even his soul. This moment, Lu Ming's physical body was trembling nonstop. At the same time, 17 types of laws covered his entire body to resist the external pressure. Although Lu Ming's combat strength was slightly inferior to a 6-star great emperor, his defense was definitely not inferior to a 6-star great emperor. Although it was very difficult for him to walk, he walked forward step by step at a uniform speed. He was very determined. Dandan followed behind Lu Ming. This guy seemed to be quite relaxed. Although he was only a 6-star great emperor, His battle power was comparable to a peak great emperor, or even suppressed one. A moment later, Lu Ming finally approached the right eye of the statue. Ooh! Lu Ming heaved a long sigh of relief. His entire body was aching. Under that terrifying pressure, he had also suffered some injuries. However, under the effects of the indestructible ancient scroll, his injuries were quickly recovering. Buzz! Lu Ming stepped into the black vortex in his right eye. He felt dizzy as if he had taken a long-distance teleportation array. The next moment, Lu Ming found himself in a huge secret room. This secret room was really huge. It was at least 10,000 miles long and wide, like an entire world. Moreover, as soon as Lu Ming entered the place, he immediately realized that the pressure on his body had disappeared without a trace. It was as easy as it was in the Tai Chiing heavenly region. Lu Ming felt full of energy. Sweeping his gaze, Lu Ming discovered that the people who had entered his right eye previously were all in this secret room, flashing back and forth, as if they were checking on something. However, this secret chamber was empty. There was nothing there, nor even a speck of dust. At this moment, a figure flashed not far from Lu Ming. Dandan's figure appeared. As soon as Dandan appeared, her eyes immediately looked around, where she immediately revealed a disappointed expression. There's nothing here. We didn't guess wrong this time, did we? We've come for nothing. Dandan 1's face was bitter. Let's wait and see. Lu Ming touched his nose. This time, he had really made a wasted trip. Everyone waited patiently, and as time passed, more and more people entered. The top experts of the Evil God tribe and Rhe Heaven Realm had almost all entered this place. Apart from Lu Ming, there were also 6-star Great Emperors and peak 7-star Great Emperors. There were tier 60 to 70 of them. A few hours later, no one else came in. Obviously, those who could come in had all come in. It can't be that we can't get out. Someone suddenly spoke. Everyone's heart skipped a beat, and their expressions turned ugly. Indeed, although this place was large, it was surrounded by stone walls, and no one had any way out. They wouldn't really be trapped here forever, would they? Everyone looked at each other, and some people's faces turned pale. A dead end. They thought that the right eye was the path to death. Could it be true? Buzz. Just as everyone was feeling a little uneasy, the void trembled slightly and lines appeared. These lines then formed a figure. It was a young and beautiful woman. What was strange was that this woman also had a pair of beautiful snow-white wings on her back. It was extremely similar to the statue. Everyone's eyes turned to this woman, revealing a curious expression. "I'm the formation spirit of this place." 11 The young woman said. Formation spirit. Lu Ming's eyes flickered. He thought of the huge tower that had also given birth to an array spirit. It seemed that the formation in this area was too advanced. After so many years, it had developed intelligence. One was created by my master back then. My master is the original body of this statue. He was an unrivaled figure. This is the eye of my master's statue. The formation spirit explained. Senior, where is your master now? Someone from the heaven realm asked. The owner of this statue was an unparalleled expert, even stronger than the celestial Arch. If he were still alive, he would definitely have a huge impact on the war between Rhe Heaven Realm and the Evil God tribe. Whichever side he stood on, that side would definitely win. Chapter 2373. My master left countless years ago. The formation spirit muttered. He left. Many people were confused. What did that mean? Had he left this void god island? Yes, I once heard Master talk to himself. He said that he had completed his mission and was about to leave this world and return. The formation spirit said after trying hard to recall. This. Everyone was even more confused. He left this world? He went back? Go back to where? Did this world refer to the heaven realm, the primordial realm, the evil god realm, or all of them? Only Dandan revealed a trace of shock and a trace of anticipation in her eyes, but she hid it very well and no one discovered it. When Master left, he said that after he left, the dojo he was cultivating in would be found sooner or later. If someone entered, they could give away some of the useless things he left behind. It could be considered a kind of fate. Also, let me tell you, you can only get it if you enter the right eye. If you enter the left eye, you will get nothing. The formation spirit continued, and slyly blinked its eyes like a young girl. Many people's eyes suddenly lit up. The useless item left behind by that great figure was a supreme expert. It was useless to him, but it was probably a supreme treasure to him. Once you've obtained the treasures, you should all leave this place. Leave this divine island, Master's Dao Field. I don't want to be disturbed by anyone. When the time comes, all of you must leave. The formation spirit spoke again. And this time, when she finished speaking, a small silver-white bag appeared in her hand. She opened the bag and poured it out. Suddenly, balls of yellow light flew out of the bag. They were storage rings and bracelets covered in a layer of yellow light, like the stars in the night sky. Everyone's eyes were burning with excitement. These storage rings and bracelets were definitely not empty. They most likely contained treasures. It's mine! It's mine, go! A loud roar rang out. Everyone couldn't hold it in any longer, and burst out towards the storage rings and bracelets. Get lost! You're looking for death. Suddenly a great battle broke out, and a tragic battle began. Here, there was no distinction between the evil god race and the beings of the heaven realm. Everyone had their own selfish motives, and wanted to take the treasures for themselves. A civil war had broken out among the evil god tribe, and they were killing each other. There were also civil wars between the beings of the heaven realm, killing each other. All. A blood-curdling screech rang out as one of the 6-star Great Emperor Realm evil god race members was cleaved into two by another member of the evil god race's axe. Another human from the heaven realm had his body torn apart by a true dragon from the heaven realm. Tragic. In this place, there were only treasures and no factions. Lu Ming and Dandan also moved. Lu Ming dashed forward and grabbed a storage ring that was shining with a yellow light. On the other hand, Dandan pounced on a storage bracelet. Die! One of the evil god race members bellowed and charged toward Lu Ming. This evil god was a 6-star Great Emperor, and his battle strength was extremely shocking. Buzz! The muscles all over Lu Ming's body trembled rapidly. At the same time, he used the 6-feathered divine wings to increase his speed to the maximum. Buzz! Lu Ming dodged the evil god tribe member's attack in a flash and appeared beside the storage ring. He grabbed the storage ring in his hand. You're looking for death. The evil god race member was furious and charged toward Lu Ming in a frenzy. A destructive light burst out from his third eye and he transformed into a ferocious beast. He roared and pounced at Lu Ming. Lu Ming did not take it head-on. Instead, he continued to use his movement technique to avoid the other party's attack. With Lu Ming's own combat strength, although he could put up a fight against a 6-star Great Emperor, he was most likely not the opponent's match. There was no need to waste his energy. As for the celestial thearch's physical body, Lu Ming did not want to use it yet. That was because the formation spirit was still hovering in the air, still holding onto the bag. Who knew if there was a higher grade treasure in the bag? He would think about it when he had more high-level treasures. On the other side, Dandan had also successfully seized a storage bracelet. His combat strength was extremely strong, and he made a 6-star Great Emperor spit out a large mouthful of blood in just a few moves. He had easily seized the storage bracelet. After he got the storage bracelet, he set his eyes on another storage bracelet. Lu Ming's figure flashed extremely quickly, avoiding the evil god tribe member's attack. He then rushed toward another storage ring. There were two 6-star Great Emperors fighting over the storage ring. Of the two 6-star Great Emperors, one was from the evil god tribe, and the other was an expert from the heaven realm. The two of them were fighting intensely, and both of them were injured. Lu Ming rushed over, alarming the two of them. Don't even think about it. The two of them launched an attack on Lu Ming at the same time. Lu Ming increased his speed to the maximum. His muscles trembled billions of times per second, and his 6-feathered wings flashed rapidly, successfully avoiding one of the attacks. However, Lu Ming did not manage to avoid the other one, and was hit. There was a flash of ruthlessness in Lu Ming's eyes. He charged forward and took the blow head-on. Boom! Lu Ming was struck and his body trembled violently. It was as if his body was about to be torn apart. However, Lu Ming gritted his teeth and withstood the attack. At the same time, he circulated the indestructible ancient scroll to recover with all his might. Therefore, Lu Ming appeared next to the storage ring in a flash and grabbed it. Lu Ming successfully obtained 2 storage rings. Hand over your storage ring. You're looking for death. The 3 powerhouses' storage rings had been taken away by Lu Ming. Each of them was filled with cold-killing intent as they charged at Lu Ming. Lu Ming circulated the indestructible ancient scroll to heal his injuries while dodging the other party's attacks. At this moment, the entire secret room was in a state of killing. 6-star Great Emperor and 7-star Peak Great Emperor were fighting each other, and people were dying one after another. As for the storage rings and bracelets, they were all taken away. Very quickly, there were not many storage rings left. Brat, hand over the treasure. A purple-haired middle-aged man had his eyes on Lu Ming and charged towards him. His combat strength was shocking. This was a Peak Great Emperor. Furthermore, he was a member of the royal race of the evil god race, and his strength was extremely terrifying. Lu Ming's expression changed. If he did not use the celestial thearch's physical body, he would not be a match for such an expert. Now is not the time. Lu Ming's eyes flickered. His body flashed rapidly and he dodged the other party's attack. Do you think you can escape? You will die in my hands. Kill. The evil god tribe's royal member said coldly as he charged toward Lu Ming. The 3 6-star Great Emperors who were chasing after Lu Ming earlier were frightened and stopped. Die your sister. I'll fight you. At this moment, a disdainful voice rang out. Then, a huge palm slammed down towards the evil god tribe's royal tribe. His palm was covered with all kinds of runes, which intertwined with a terrifying power. The royal member of the evil god tribe slapped out with his palm and clashed with the palm, causing a deafening boom to ring out. After that, the body of the evil god tribe's royal member trembled violently, and he retreated continuously. Buzz. Dandan appeared beside Lu Ming. Chapter 2374. Lu Ming heaved a sigh of relief when he saw Dandan. Dandan's battle power was indeed strong. She actually forced back a royal member of the evil god race, who was a Peak Emperor. The eyes of the royal member of the evil god tribe flashed with purple light as he stared at Dandan and said coldly, "Divine turtle of the world, that's good. I'll get rid of you today to prevent you from becoming a disaster in the future." Boom. A brilliant purple light burst forth from the body of the evil god tribe's royal tribe member. It was extremely dazzling, like a purple flame that was burning. On Dandan's body, countless runes shone, and a world slowly emerged. The battle between the 2 sides started at once. But at this moment, the storage rings and bracelets that the formation spirit had poured out had all been snatched away. Don't worry, there's still more. In the air, the formation spirit chuckled, picked up the bag, and poured it again. This time, balls of yellow light flew out from the bag. This time there weren't many balls of light. There were only a dozen of them, but each one of them was 10 times more dazzling than the previous ones. Each ball of light was a weapon. There were nearly 20 pieces, and each one of them exuded a terrifying aura. That was the aura of the Heavenly Tao. Heaven Tao soldiers. Everyone's heart trembled, and their eyes burned with fire as they stared at the 20 weapons. To be precise, it was 19 weapons. 19 Heaven Tao soldiers. It's mine, it's mine. The Heaven Tao soldiers are mine. Many people's eyes were filled with burning greed. Buzz, buzz, buzz. Everyone moved at the same time and rushed into the sky. Heaven Tao soldiers were simply too precious, and even many celestial emperors didn't have them. Everyone here was a 6-star Great Emperor, and their next step was to break through to the Heavenly Emperor realm. Once he successfully broke through to the Heavenly Emperor realm, with the addition of the Heaven Tao soldiers, his strength would skyrocket, and he would be able to stabilize his position among the Heavenly Emperors. Even if he couldn't break through to the Great Emperor realm, he could still sell it to the Celestial Emperor for a great price. Who wouldn't be tempted by such a treasure? A terrifying battle instantly erupted. In the previous battle, more than 10 people had died, but there were still about 60 people left. 60 people, but only 19 Heaven Tao soldiers. It was destined that they would fight to the death. Kill. Kill. This time, it was even more brutal. The Peak Great Emperors attacked with full power, and several 6-star Great Emperors were instantly killed. Lu Ming and Dandan also soared into the sky at the first moment, and chose their respective targets. This time, Lu Ming did not hesitate to summon the Celestial Thearch's physical body. Lu Ming merged with the Celestial Thearch's physical body. His speed was extremely fast as he rushed toward a long spear. There were 3 other people who were also charging at the spear. 2 6-star Great Emperors and 1 7-star Great Emperor. Kill! Lu Ming shouted and slashed out with the stone sword in his hand. Bang! A 6-star Great Emperor was hit by Lu Ming, and was sent flying. He spat out a mouthful of blood. The energy in the Celestial Emperor's body had reached 100%, and it was no weaker than a peak emperor. The other 6-star Great Emperor was also sent flying by the other peak Great Emperor. Then, he pounced toward the long spear with Lu Ming. Buzz! Lu Ming was 1 step ahead. He stretched out his large hand and grabbed the long spear. You're looking for death. Die! The peak emperor shouted and attacked Lu Ming. However, Lu Ming did not dodge. This was the Celestial Thearch's physical body. It was sturdy and immortal with astonishing defensive power. Unless the Celestial Thearch made a move, Lu Ming did not believe that any Great Emperor could break it. Boom! The opponent's attack landed on Celestial Emperor's corporeal body, causing it to shake violently. However, it successfully blocked the opponent's attack without leaving a single mark on it. Lu Ming withstood the attack. He grabbed the long spear and kept it in the small world. Hand over the Heaven Dao soldiers. The peak emperor was furious and launched a storm of attacks. Don't think I'm afraid of you. Lu Ming shouted coldly. He completely disregarded his defense and charged straight at the man. The other party's attack landed on Lu Ming, but it could only shake him for a moment. It did not stop and rushed past him, slashing out with its sword. The other party was shocked and quickly retreated. However, he was still a step too slow and was swept by Lu Ming's sword. A deep wound appeared on his body and he was almost cut in half. Kill! Lu Ming shouted coldly and seized the opportunity to attack. Celestial Emperor's corporeal body had 100% of its energy, and its battle power wasn't weaker than a peak Great Emperor. However, the defensive power of the Celestial Thearch's physical body was astonishing. Lu Ming could completely ignore his defense. In this way, he could completely crush a peak Great Emperor in a head-on battle. The other party was injured and his combat strength was weakened. He was not Lu Ming's match. After a few moves, he was sent flying by Lu Ming and half of his body was cut in half. The other party was shocked. He did not dare to fight with Lu Ming and retreated rapidly. Die! At this moment, a figure suddenly appeared behind the other party. A palm covered in runes blasted towards the other party. Ah, run! The other party roared. He didn't expect to be ambushed from behind. It was too late to dodge. Bang! The other party was hit directly, and his body was torn into pieces, dying on the spot. A peak Great Emperor was killed just like that. The one who killed him was naturally Dandan. Dandan had already seized a Heaven Dao soldier, and that person had just retreated to Dandan's side, so Dandan directly attacked the other party. Dandan, let's join forces. Lu Ming flew over. Alright, there's one over there. Dandan shouted and flew toward one of the Heaven Dao soldiers, Lu Ming following closely behind. Over there, a few people were fighting fiercely. The 2 of them charged over and attacked a peak Great Emperor. This peak emperor was from the evil god race. Boom! Dandan struck out with his palm, and countless runes filled the air. There seemed to be a small world in his palm, and it pressed down on his opponent. The other party was shocked and quickly counterattacked. However, Lu Ming also rushed over. He fought with no regard for his life. He completely disregarded defense and slashed out with his sword. Being besieged by the 2 of them, that person was instantly no match for them. He was cut in half by Lu Ming's sword. The other party wasn't dead yet, and he retreated in fear. The 2 of them didn't chase after him. One of them kept the Heaven Dao soldier, and then charged towards the other one. The 2 of them joined forces and were invincible. The next Heaven Dao soldier was also obtained. This way, the 2 of them would each receive 2 Heaven Dao soldiers. The 2 of them joining hands had also raised the vigilance of the others. Those who were on good terms with him started to work together, especially the peak emperors. The 19 Heaven Dao soldiers were getting fewer and fewer as they were all taken away. That fellow has obtained 2 Heaven Dao soldiers. Danden's gaze turned to a purple-haired middle-aged man. That person was the royal member of the evil god tribe. This person's battle power was shocking and stronger than normal peak great emperors. Kill. Lu Ming was very direct as he rushed toward the royal member of the evil god tribe. The energy in Celestial Emperor's corporeal body was limited, so he had to end the battle as soon as possible. Danden's figure flickered and she also charged at this person. Chapter 2375. Bastard from the evil god race, come forth and fight. Danden shouted, opened her mouth, and spat out a long river that flew towards the other party. It was like a heavenly river, but also like a battle sword. Boom. The evil god tribe's royal member's body glowed with a dazzling purple light as a combat sword appeared in his hand. The evil god tribe usually used battle axes, giant hammers, maces, and iron rods. They rarely used swords. Buzz. The sword howls did not stop. The royal member of the evil god tribe slashed out twice at the same time, and 2 purple sword gleams slashed toward Lu Ming and Danden respectively. A purple sword light collided with the long river that Danden spurted out. There was a loud bang and the 2 disappeared. However, Danden's figure was already close to her opponent, and she struck out a palm. As for Lu Ming, he did not take the other party's sword gleam head-on. A head-on confrontation would consume a lot of energy. Lu Ming had to try his best to conserve his energy. Lu Ming's figure flashed, and he dodged the sword light. Then he charged at the other party. At this moment, Danden and the 2 members of the evil god tribe's royal tribe had already exchanged their second blow. Boom. This time, it was a head-on collision. The 2 of them trembled and retreated. However, the royal tribe of the evil god tribe had retreated even more. He was at a disadvantage. The royal member of the evil god tribe was extremely shocked. The royal tribe of the evil god tribe was extremely powerful to begin with. In a battle of the same level, their strength far exceeded that of the other evil god tribes. On the other hand, Danden was clearly only a 6-star great emperor, and hadn't even reached peak great emperor yet, but her battle power was stronger than his, which shocked him. Die, you bastard! Danden charged at the other party again, her killing intent extremely cold. Danden hated the evil god tribe to the core. In ancient times, he had been severely injured by the evil god tribe and had barely turned into an egg. He had only been reborn after meeting Lu Ming. Therefore, he had to kill the evil god tribe whenever he saw them. This time, Lu Ming had also arrived. With the 2 of them working together, the royal family of the evil god tribe was even more vulnerable. Although he had used all his strength, he was still heavily injured and was frantically retreating. Quickly come and help me. The royal member of the evil god tribe roared. The royal tribe had an extremely high status among the evil god tribe. Even in such a situation where everyone wanted to take the Heaven Dao soldier, there was still a peak great emperor, who charged towards Lu Ming and the others. No one can save you. Danden roared and launched a storm of attacks. Lu Ming also launched a crazy attack. The royal member of the evil god tribe managed to block a few moves, but he was no match for Lu Ming in the end. One of his arms was cut off by Lu Ming's sword. The other party's storage bracelet was worn on this arm. Lu Ming used the power of the world to roll up the arm and kept it. Bastard, damn it! The royal member of the evil god race howled in rage. All of his treasures were in his storage bracelet, including the 2 Heaven Dao soldiers. No, it was 3. He had even borrowed one from the Heavenly Emperor stage powerhouse of the evil god tribe, which he had used to kill the Azure Dragon. His eyes were red, and his heart was bleeding. Unfortunately, he didn't dare to stay and could only retreat frantically. At this moment, the 19 Heaven Dao soldiers had all been taken away. Lu Ming and Danden had the greatest gains. They had obtained a total of 6 items. At the scene, there were more than 20 more bodies. A few of them, even peak great emperors, had fallen here. The remaining people's eyes flickered. Someone had his eyes on Lu Ming. It was because Lu Ming and Danden had indeed gained a shocking harvest just now. However, there were even more people who were staring at that formation spirit, their eyes flickering with thick greed. How many treasures were in the bag in the formation spirit's hand? A four-armed member of the evil god race had a greedy look in his eyes. His mind had been blinded by his greed, and he took the lead to attack the formation spirit. Hand over that bag. The four-armed evil god race member was also a peak emperor, and his speed was extremely fast. At the same time, the four weapons in his forearms slashed toward the array spirit. You actually want to attack me? Interesting. Then I'll send you on your way. The formation spirit muttered. It then opened its small mouth and slightly spat. It was as though a stream of air had been spat out from the mouth of the formation spirit. Then a shocking scene happened. The four-armed evil god tribe member let out a blood-curdling screech as his body exploded and turned into dust, not leaving behind anything. Everyone's heart trembled violently. It was as if a basin of cold water had been poured on them, extinguishing the fire of their greed. He killed a peak great emperor in one breath. What kind of strength was this? He's really courting death. This is the array spirit produced by the great array set up by a supreme expert. If he can borrow the power of the great array here, even the heavenly emperor will die. Let alone him. Dandan gloated at Lu Ming's misfortune through voice transmission. The other people's expressions were unsightly, and they no longer dared to have any ideas about the formation spirit. I have one last treasure left. I'll give it to you. The formation spirit spoke again, and then the bag toppled over, a ball of light flying out. This time there was only a ball of light that was extremely dazzling. It was 10 times more dazzling than the light of the Heaven Dao soldiers. In the light was a token. It looked very simple and seemed to be very ancient. However, it did not give off any aura and looked very ordinary. However, everyone's eyes were burning. The formation spirit was the last one to take out the token. The light on the token was 10 times brighter than the light on the Heaven Dao soldiers. According to his previous judgment, it seemed that the more precious a treasure was, the more dazzling the light would be. Although he couldn't tell what was so special about this token, it was definitely extremely precious. At this moment, everyone moved and rushed towards the token. Boom! Boom! A terrifying battle instantly broke out, and the secret room shook. Bang! Bang! Several 6-star great emperors were torn apart and died on the spot. The remaining 6-star great emperors were scared, and they kept stepping back, not daring to interfere. So many people were fighting for a token. The battle was too intense. All the peak great emperors were attacking madly. A 6-star great emperor would only die if he was caught in the battle. This time, Lu Ming and Dandan did not make a move. They were preserving their strength, and it was obvious that if they attacked now, they would definitely face a tragic battle. Although Lu Ming and Dandan were powerful, they would definitely face the attacks of the other peak great emperors if they were to fight for the token. The best strategy was to wait and see. Of course, it wasn't easy to do so in the face of such a treasure. Who could remain calm when faced with a treasure that was 10 times more precious than a Heaven Dao soldier? Even the celestial Tharch would go crazy if he were here. But Dandan, this old monster who had lived for who knew how many years, had a strong heart, and at this time, she forcefully endured it. As for Lu Ming, he was no ordinary person either. He had experienced too many things along the way, and his heart was stronger than many old monsters who had lived for countless years. At this moment he had to endure it. At the same time, he also took out a large number of energy crystals to replenish the energy of Celestial Emperor's corporeal body. The Celestial Thearch's corporeal body had lost a large amount of energy in the battle just now, and it was a good time to replenish some. Chapter 2376. The fight for the token was extremely intense. The peak great emperors from the evil god race and heaven realm added up to nearly 30. Close to 30 peak emperors were fighting madly. At this moment, there was no race or faction. There was only one person's greed. The others were all competitors. In such a tragic battle, there were casualties in a short while. A slightly weaker peak emperor was torn apart by 2 other peak emperors. There was also a very powerful peak great emperor, who broke out of the encirclement and rushed towards his token. When he was about to get close to the token, he was turned into ashes by everyone. Peak great emperors fell one after another. The others who didn't die were also injured to varying degrees. Tragic, extremely tragic. This was a peak great emperor. If the heavenly emperor didn't appear, who could compete with him? They were all powerhouses who had the potential to become heavenly emperors. However, they were worthless now. Some of them had been killed by their enemies, while others had died at the hands of their own powerhouses. The more they killed, the crazier they became. Their eyes were already red from all the killing. Buzz. Finally, someone rushed to the side of the token and grabbed it. This was a true dragon. Its entire body was golden. It was the most powerful golden true dragon among the true dragons, and its strength was shocking. When he grabbed the token in his hand, he roared and tried to break out of the encirclement. However, a few extremely powerful experts immediately rushed over and attacked the golden true dragon with all kinds of attacks. Although the golden true dragon was strong and had amazing defense, it couldn't withstand it. Wounds appeared on its body, and it almost tore it apart. Its eyes revealed a look of fear as it threw the token away. The scene fell into a chaotic battle again. Lu Ming, hurry up and recover. 111 Make some arrangements. Dandan sent a voice transmission to Lu Ming. Then her figure flashed quickly. Runes emerged from Dandan's hands and disappeared into the void. Lu Ming knew that Dandan was setting up a big array. Dandan's control of the Tao of Runes had reached an incredible realm. As long as he was given a little time, he would definitely be able to arrange a powerful formation. Lu Ming kept taking out energy crystals and supreme-grade rough stones to speed up the storage of energy in the celestial thearch's body. Bang! Bang! Piles and piles of energy crystals he had obtained from the evil god tribe and supreme-grade rough stones exploded and turned into energy that was absorbed by the celestial thearch's body. Of course, some of them were wasted and dissipated in the void. However, Lu Ming did not care. Usually, Lu Ming would not use such an overbearing method to let the celestial thearch's body store energy, as it was too wasteful. Some of the energy would dissipate because it could not be absorbed. However, he could not care so much now. In the air, the formation spirit swept a glance at Dandan. A trace of a smile hanging on the corner of its mouth, as if it had seen something, but did not say much. At the scene, the battle for the tokens had entered a white-hot stage, and the killing was extremely fierce. Many peak great emperors were killed and died here. There had been around 30 peak great emperors at the start, but only 20 remained. The remaining 20 or so peak great emperors were all injured. Buzz. At this moment, Dandan appeared beside Lu Ming and said, "How is it? Can you make a move?" "Sure," Lu Ming said. "Alright, let's attack together." "Well, seize that token as quickly as possible." Dandan nodded. Almost at the same time, the two of them moved. The two of them rushed out at the same time. Endless world. Dandan roared loudly. He revealed his true form, and his entire body was covered with countless symbols. Then he opened his mouth and spat out a world. It was really a world. However, it was not a small world that was condensed. It was a kind of magical technique. The power of this sacred art was extremely terrifying. It was as if an entire world was suppressing the enemy. Boom. A peak great emperor in front of Dandan was already injured, and she suddenly attacked. He didn't have time to react and was killed. Another 2 peak great emperors were sent flying. Buzz. Lu Ming seized the opportunity and rushed over, waving his hand to grab the token. He and Dandan worked together seamlessly. Lu Ming grabbed the token in his hand. "You're looking for death. Release the token." "Kill die." The other peak emperors roared and attacked Lu Ming. Boom, boom, boom. Lu Ming was instantly overwhelmed by all kinds of attacks. The celestial thearch's physical body trembled wildly and was sent flying. He flew thousands of miles away and crashed into the wall of the secret chamber. However, Lu Ming was fine. The celestial thearch's physical body had blocked the other people's attacks. If it was any other peak emperor, they would have been killed by this many attacks. However, Lu Ming used the celestial thearch's physical body to block these attacks and successfully kept the token into the small world. Still not dead. "Kill him." The others were shocked as well. Then they charged toward Lu Ming in a frenzy. "Lu Ming, come here and enter the formation." Dandan's voice rang in Lu Ming's ears. At the same time, She waved her hands rapidly. Sword lights appeared in the void and attacked the Peak Emperors. Half of the Peak Great Emperors were stopped by Danden's formation. The rest of them continued to charge at Lu Ming. Bang! Lu Ming's feet stomped heavily on the wall. His body was like a cannonball, rushing towards Danden. Whoosh! 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 One attack after another was directed at Lu Ming, but he did not care and allowed the attacks to land on his body. No one under the Celestial Emperor realm could break through the defense of the Celestial Emperor's corporeal body. Lu Ming rushed past her and approached Danden at high speed. Kill! A purple-haired middle-aged man appeared in front of Lu Ming and slashed his sword at him. It was the royal member of the Evil God tribe. His arm had been cut off by Lu Ming and his storage bracelet had been snatched away. He was constantly thinking of getting it back. At that moment his arm had regrown. He seized the opportunity and charged at Lu Ming. Get lost! Lu Ming shouted and slashed with his sword. Clang! The two swords clashed and a violent boom erupted. Lu Ming's figure was blocked and he stopped. However, Lu Ming took another step forward and charged toward the royal member of the Evil God tribe. Not only his sword, but his entire body also charged toward the other party. There were no moves or spells at all, only a brutal impact. Whoosh! Whoosh! The Evil God tribe's royal member stabbed out hundreds of times in an instant. The hundreds of sword gleams were extremely sharp. However, Lu Ming did not seem to see them as he crashed into them. The sword gleam could only leave a few shallow marks on Lu Ming's body. Bang! Lu Ming and his sword crashed into the Evil God tribe's royal member. The royal member grunted as his body was sent flying. Lu Ming, on the other hand, rushed past him and arrived near Danden. Great formation, rise! He shouted daringly and waved his hands. Countless runes appeared and pieces of turtle shells appeared out of thin air, shrouding Lu Ming and him in the middle. Chapter 2377. Danden controlled the formation and countless runes appeared, forming pieces of turtle shells that were like shields, surrounding Lu Ming and Danden in the middle. Boom! 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 Just as the turtle shell rose, the attacks from all directions arrived. Each attack was from a Peak Emperor, but they were all blocked by the turtle shell. None of the attacks could break through the turtle shell. Ha ha ha, you want to break the formation I set up? Although it's only for a short time, it's still possible to set up a formation that can protect you all. Danden laughed out loud, extremely proud. Damn it, watch me break your turtle shell. Break! The rest of the Peak Emperors shouted, and used their ultimate moves to attack Danden and Lu Ming. However, there were so many turtle shells that they blocked all the gaps. When all the attacks landed on the turtle shells, they only trembled but couldn't be broken. Everyone attack 1 point. Someone shouted, wanting to concentrate everyone's attack on 1 point and break the turtle shell. Whoosh! Whoosh! Everyone's attacks were focused on the turtle shell. Sure enough, this move was effective. The turtle shell shook violently, and then cracks appeared on it. Those people were overjoyed, but their faces were very calm, and even had a faint mocking look. Boom! The turtle shell was shattered, but in the next moment, a new turtle shell was formed. Those people were stunned for a moment, and then their anger soared to the sky, and they launched an attack again. But it was no use. Every time they broke a turtle shell, a new one would float out. Danden revealed a faint smile and a leisurely expression, which almost made those people vomit blood. After attacking for a while, there was no effect at all, and those people had to stop. What's the point of hiding in the turtle shell? Well, just wait here. He'll come out sooner or later. And once he does, we'll tear them to pieces. The royal member of the Evil God tribe said coldly. The others also revealed cold gazes. Have you all forgotten what one said before? At this moment, the formation spirit in the air spoke, its clear voice ringing in everyone's ears. I've already given you the items. After you get them, I'll send you out. You have half an hour more. After that, I'll send all of you out at the same time. Half an hour, damn it. The rest of the people's expressions changed drastically. Then they launched their attacks one after another, attacking Danden and Lu Ming. They had to break through Danden's formation within half an hour. However, everything was in vain. It was completely useless. There were even people who bombarded the void, smashing it into pieces, trying to destroy the formation base of the formation. However, this kind of formation that imprinted runes in the void couldn't be broken at all. Unless the power was extremely strong and annihilated all the particles in the void, it was impossible to break through the void. Time passed quickly, and half an hour was up. All right, time's up. You can all leave. At this moment, the formation spirit spoke. After she finished speaking, her body emitted a dazzling radiance. An incomparably powerful force was applied to Lu Ming and the rest. Boom. Their bodies were repelled by an extremely powerful force, and they flew out of the statue in an instant. Then they flew out of the island. At this moment, an extremely terrifying and supreme power erupted from the statue and spread in all directions. Everyone on Void God Island was pushed by this force, and was sent flying out of the island. However, the strange thing was that the demonic beasts and mutated beasts that had originally lived on the island were completely fine. Lu Ming's body was in the air. He could not control his body at all. It was as if he was being pushed by a huge wave in the sea, and was flying backward rapidly. At the same time, he saw many other figures being pushed in all directions from the other corners of the island. The scene was extremely spectacular. Not long after, Lu Ming and the rest were pushed to the edge of the Void God Island. They stood in the void, and at this time the force disappeared. At the edge of the island stood many figures. There were beings from the evil god race and the heaven realm. Other than Lu Ming and a few people, most of the people looked at each other, not knowing what had happened. Suddenly, a scream was heard. Someone had made a move. One of the evil god race members suddenly attacked, and tore apart a heaven realm expert. That was because at the edge of the island, the living beings of the evil god race and heaven realm were all mixed together. After being stunned for a moment, someone finally reacted and made a move. You're looking for death. Immediately, someone from the heaven realm retaliated. At the edge of the Void God Island, a chaotic battle immediately broke out. Two 2-star and 3-star Great Emperors attacked Lu Ming, and were killed by him with one punch. Dandan, let's go first. Lu Ming rushed toward Dandan because Dandan happened to appear not far from him. Soon, the two of them met up and rushed out into the void, trying to meet up with Heavenly Emperor Hengyu. Stay here. With a loud roar, one of the evil god race members charged toward Lu Ming, and the other man with a burning gaze. This evil god race member was a peak emperor. There were almost 20 peak great emperors left in the statue, but they were scattered by the force. There was only one peak great emperor here. You want to keep me here alone? Die. A ferocious look flashed in Dandan's eyes as she charged toward this peak great emperor from the evil god race. As for Lu Ming, he had already put away the celestial emperor's body. Without it, he was no match for a peak great emperor, so he did not make a move. Boom. Boom. Dandan's battle power was extremely strong, and after a few moves, she made the peak emperor spit out blood. The other party was shocked and retreated, not daring to fight Lu Ming. Lu Ming and Dandan met up and rushed outside. Let's go. Now is not the time for the final battle. On the side of the heaven realm, someone shouted, and then flew out one by one. The people from the evil god race didn't dare to chase after them, because the heaven realm's people were flying in the direction that the heaven realm's celestial Dharch was receiving. If they chased after them, they would only be met with death. The evil god race members turned around and flew in another direction. Slowly, the battle at the edge of the Void God Island came to a stop. Everyone chose the right direction, and left the Void God Island. Lu Ming and Dandan flew at top speed. The Void God Island was getting further and further away from them, and it was getting smaller. Finally, they saw the figures in front of them. It was the Heavenly Emperor from the Heavenly Realm, and there were more than a dozen of them. Lu Ming saw the Hengyu Heavenly Emperor among them. These Heavenly Emperors were all looking at the Void God Island anxiously. Clearly, they had also sensed the change on the island. The Hengyu Heavenly Emperor's eyes lit up when he saw Lu Ming, and he flew over. Lu Ming, what happened on the Void God Island? Heavenly Emperor Hengyu asked. The other celestial emperors also turned to look at him curiously. Chapter 2378. Senior Hengyu, this matter is complicated. Let's go back first. Lu Ming said. Alright, 111 bring you guys back. The Eternal Universe Heavenly Emperor nodded. Then, with a wave of his hand, he led Lu Ming and Dandan toward the passageway that they had come from. That passageway was also guarded by the Celestial Arch. The Hengyu Heavenly Emperor brought Lu Ming and Dandan through the passage and returned to the Taiqing Heavenly Region. Lu Ming, you guys wait for me here. I have to go and bring the others back. Heavenly Emperor Hengyu said. There were many great emperors that entered the island, but the number of heavenly emperors was limited. Naturally, each heavenly emperor would have to make many trips. Senior Hengyu, how about this? Well, wait for you in Two World City first. Lu Ming said. That's good too. You guys can return to Two World City first. Heavenly Emperor Hengyu nodded before turning around and entering the passageway. Lu Ming and Dandan flew toward Two World City. Back when the Hengyu Heavenly Emperor had brought them from Two World City, it had only taken them an hour. However, their speed was naturally not as fast as the Hengyu Heavenly Emperors. The two of them had flown at full speed, but it had still taken them 2 full days to return to Two World City. In Lu Ming's residence in Two World City, Lu Ming and Dandan began to divide the treasures they had obtained. What they split was mainly the Heaven Dao soldier and the token. The two of them took out all their Heaven Dao soldiers. The two of them had worked together to snatch 6 Heaven Dao soldiers, and the other one had been brought in by the evil god race's royal clan. There were a total of 7 of them. The 7 Heaven Dao soldiers gave off a terrifying aura, scaring Dandan so much that she hurriedly set up a formation to cover up the aura. In addition, there was also that token. Dandan, what will you choose? Lu Ming looked at Dandan. Dandan's eyes swept between the Heaven Dao soldier and the token with a fiery gaze, wishing she could take both for herself. I'll study this token first. Dandan grabbed the token in her hand and studied it carefully. However, Dandan had used all kinds of methods, but she had found nothing. Why would I? Dandan revealed a puzzled expression. Let me see. Lu Ming took the token and studied it carefully. However, he realized that there was nothing special about the token except that it was made of special materials and was sturdy. It's a very ordinary token. Is it really more important than a Heaven Dao soldier? Lu Ming was puzzled. Dandan was also scratching her head, unable to figure it out. Dandan, how about this 7 Heaven Dao soldiers? Each person will get 3, each person will get 4, but the 3 Heaven Dao soldiers plus this token, how about it? Lu Ming looked at Dandan. All right, Dandan nodded, but her eyes were rolling around, obviously hesitating about what to choose. How about this? I'll take 3 Heaven Dao soldiers and this command medallion. Lu Ming was the first to speak. You chose this token? You sure know how to choose. Dandan gritted her teeth. Dandan, this token might not be of any use at all. You've studied it before. I took it out purely out of curiosity. Heaven Dao soldiers are so precious. You've made a big profit by letting you take one more. Lu Ming said. Go, you're trying to trick a 3-year-old kid. This token is extremely mysterious, and it was taken out last by the formation spirit. It might contain the secret of the Heavenly Dao. You want to keep it for yourself, kid, but don't think one don't know. Dandan gritted her teeth and stared at the token, reluctant to look away. Dandan, how about this? I always feel that I have some fate with this token. I'll take it first, and if I discover any secrets in the future, I'll definitely take you with me. How about it? Lu Ming said. He really couldn't bear to give this token to Dandan. To be honest, he really had a feeling that this token might be of great use in the future. This was a kind of intuition. Dandan gritted her teeth, obviously still reluctant. Finally, she gritted her teeth and said, Brat, if you discover any secrets in the future, you must tell me. Otherwise, I won't let you off. After saying that, Dandan began to pick out the 7 Heaven Dao soldiers. Dandan, this spear is more suitable for me. You can choose the rest. Lu Ming kept one of the long spears. Dandan was unconcerned. A Heaven Dao soldier in the form of a spear was not of much use to him. In the end, Dandan chose 4 Heaven Dao soldiers and kept them, leaving 2 for Lu Ming. The remaining 2 items were a sword and a meteor hammer. Lu Ming kept all of them, feeling satisfied. This time around, he had obtained 3 Heaven Dao soldiers. This was a huge harvest. Lu Ming, I'll be cultivating in 2 World City for this period of time. If you discover anything, remember to look for me, he said. After Dandan put away the things, her figure flashed and she left the place. Lu Ming smiled, then took out 2 storage rings and checked them. He had obtained the 2 storage rings from the Array Spirit. Lu Ming was very curious about what was inside. Lu Ming's eyes lit up as he used his spiritual senses to scan the area. The items in the storage ring were all over the place. Ori rocks, all sorts of blacksmithing materials, pills, and so on. Chaos gem. Lu Ming's eyes lit up. He found chaos gems in one of the storage rings. This time, there were a shocking number of them, more than 10,000 pieces. This was an astonishing harvest. Also the fragment of the Great Tao. Next, Lu Ming found more fragments of the Great Tao. They were locked in a box and there were more than 100 pieces. Even though Lu Ming was mentally prepared, he was overjoyed. If this wealth was taken out, it would make people go crazy. I'm rich, I'm really rich. Lu Ming's current wealth was already more than many of the heavenly emperors. 3 Heaven Dao weapons was no joke. After all, most of the celestial emperors didn't even have Heaven Dao weapons. This trip to the Void God Island has truly been a great harvest. Lu Ming sighed. After cultivating on the Void Island for 7 to 8 years, Lu Ming had made great progress in all dimensions. Lu Ming had already cultivated 8 of the 10 ultimate maxims to the 3rd realm. He had also cultivated 3 of the King Path maxims to the 3rd realm. Moreover, Lu Ming had also cultivated the 7 Gods mysterious technique to the middle of the 5th stage. His abilities had improved in all aspects. What a pity! If I had cultivated in there for a while, I might have been able to successfully cultivate the remaining 2 ultimate maxims. Lu Ming sighed. Out of the 10 strongest laws, he had only just started learning the law of cause and effect. As for the law of fate, he had yet to learn it. The speed of comprehending the laws on the Void Island was dozens of times faster than it was outside. Lu Ming was really tempted. It was a pity that he couldn't go in the future. It's already very rare for me to have such a great harvest. One can't be too greedy. Lu Ming smiled and kept his things. He sat cross-legged and his soul entered the small world to begin comprehending the laws of karma. Time flew by and half a month passed. On this day, Emperor Hengyu had arrived. It was clear that all the great emperors who had entered the island had been brought out. Lu Ming immediately recounted what had happened on the island to Emperor Hengyu. Chapter 2379. Heavenly Emperor Hengyu sighed when he heard about what had happened on the Void God Island. Senior Hengyu, this weapon is for you. Lu Ming moved his hand and a combat sword appeared in his hand. It was one of the 3 Heaven Dao soldiers. This is a Heaven Dao soldier. Heavenly Emperor Hengyu's eyes lit up when he saw the sword. It is. Lu Ming smiled. Lu Ming, this Heaven Dao soldier is too valuable. If you sell it, the price will be immeasurable. One can't accept it. Although Heavenly Emperor Hengyu was tempted, he still shook his head. Lu Ming had risked his life to obtain this. How could he accept it? Senior Hengyu, please accept it. I've gained a lot this time, and one have my own Heaven Dao soldier. I have no use for this sword. Lu Ming said. Indeed, he had gained a lot this time. He had all kinds of resources. There was no need for him to sell the Heaven Dao soldiers. He didn't lack resources. Along the way, the Hengyu Heavenly Emperor had been of great help to him, especially the Heavenly Emperor's physical body, which had helped Lu Ming escape danger many times. It was only right to give the Hengyu Heavenly Emperor a Heaven Dao soldier. Seeing Lu Ming's firm attitude, the Hengyu Heavenly Emperor hesitated for a moment before putting it away. Lu Ming, if you need anything, just tell me. I'll definitely help you if it's within my means. The Hengyu Heavenly Dao said. Senior Hengyu, you're too serious. Lu Ming said hurriedly. Heavenly Emperor Hengyu looked at the sword in his hand carefully, and the more he looked at it, the more he liked it, and a smile appeared on his face. His cultivation was at the 3-star Heavenly Emperor realm. With this Heaven Dao soldier, his combat strength would increase by a large margin. Even if he encountered a peerless expert at the 4-star Heavenly Emperor realm, as long as the other party didn't have a Heaven Dao soldier, he would be able to fight against them. He could even make use of the Heavenly Dao contained in the Heavenly Dao soldiers to improve his cultivation, break through the bottleneck, and break through to the 4-star Heavenly Emperor level, becoming a peerless powerhouse, a figure at the Heavenly Venerable level in the Heavenly Realm. This Heaven Dao soldier was too useful to him. After a while, the Hengyu Heavenly Emperor kept the Heaven Dao soldier, and left after chatting with Lu Ming for a while. He needed to refine the Heaven Dao soldier as soon as possible, so that he could unleash its full power. After the Hengyu Celestial Tharch left, Lu Ming made a trip to the Chaos Hall, and gave the remaining Heavenly Dao soldier, the Meteor Hammer, to 2E. Earth One was naturally overjoyed to obtain the Heaven Dao soldier. Actually, the Primal Chaos Palace had also left behind Heaven Dao soldiers. However, there were only 2 of them, and they weren't suitable for the earth element. One was in Gold One's hands and the other was in Lei Yi's hands. The others had long been envious. Now that Earth One had won, he was naturally overjoyed and extremely grateful to Lu Ming. Lu Ming smiled. Earth One and the rest were completely under his command. The stronger they were, the better it was for him. After Lu Ming returned to his residence, he had an idea and entered the mountain and river diagram. Then a long spear appeared in his hand. This long spear was the Heaven Dao soldier. Boom! Boom! All of Lu Ming's power erupted. The power of his physical body, the power of the world, and the power of the laws were all unleashed. The long spear emitted a dazzling radiance and swept out. The void was instantly shattered, and an endless space storm howled. It was simply destructive. Cool, this is too cool. After waving it a few times, Lu Ming stopped. With his current cultivation, he naturally couldn't unleash the full power of the Heaven Dao soldiers, nor could he activate the power of the Heaven Dao within. However, the material of the Heaven Dao soldiers was extremely sturdy and once activated, they would be heavier than a mountain. Lu Ming could unleash all his power without any restraint. Previously, when Lu Ming condensed the infinite dragon spear with the law, he could not unleash all of Lu Ming's power. At the very least, he could not use his physical strength to his heart's content. Once there was a strong collision, the infinite dragon spear would collapse. Therefore, most of the time, Lu Ming simply used his fists to fight the enemy. In that case, he would be able to unleash his abilities more. But now, with this long spear, Lu Ming's strength could be unleashed to his heart's content. Moreover, the long spear had more or less increased Lu Ming's combat strength. On the handle of the spear, there were 3 words: Great Desolation Spear. Great Desolation Spear, accompany me in my world war. Lu Ming smiled and kept the Great Desolation Spear. After a while, I'll go back to the primordial realm to take a look. Lu Ming started to think. It had been many years since he had entered the heaven realm from the passageway in the divine wilderness continent's 9 dragons. Now that his strength had improved rapidly, it was time for him to go back and take a look. Also, he had to go back and settle some scores. For example, the Hung family, the He family, and the Daoyuo Heaven sect of the Heavenly Emperor City. The Mu family in the Divine Land. These people wanted to kill him back then. It was time to settle the score. However, before Lu Ming returned, he planned to look for Bubbles, Long Chun, Fengling, and the rest. He had too many resources on hand now, and he planned to give them some. This way, their cultivation speed would also increase. Lu Ming found a few acquaintances, and asked them about Bubbles and the rest. He waited while asking. At the same time, in a great hall of the Lan family, the higher-ups of the Lan family and the Yen family were discussing something. Lu Ming, you've gone too far. The Heavenly Emperor of the Lan family, Lan Cheng, let out a furious roar filled with endless killing intent. The other members of the Lan family were the same. However, as they were emitting killing intent, their eyes were also filled with fear. This was because they had already learned that some of the great emperors of the Lan family had been killed by Lu Ming on the Void Island. After all, there were many people who were still alive in the Heaven Realm. When those people came out, they immediately passed the news to the Lan family. The upper echelons of the Lan family were shocked when they heard this news. They immediately gathered the upper echelons and the Yen family's celestial arch for a discussion. Master, what should we do now? Someone asked Lan Cheng. Kill him. We must kill him. We can't let Lu Ming grow. Otherwise, we'll all die. Lan Cheng said coldly. Foolish. Right at this moment, an aged voice sounded out, causing the expressions of everyone present to change. In the next moment, a white-haired old man in coarse clothes appeared in the hall. Everyone in the Lan family quickly stood up and bowed. We pay our respects to the ancestor. The Yen clan's heavenly emperor also stood up and said, Greetings, exalted celestial. Above the four-star heavenly emperor, they were known as heavenly venerates. The Lan family's patriarch's gaze swept across the crowd before finally landing on Lan Cheng. Now you still want to kill Lu Ming? Old ancestor, Lu Ming has killed so many great emperors of the Lan family. How can we not kill him? Moreover, if we let him go on like this, the Lan family will be in danger. Lan Cheng said. Oh, then tell me, how do we kill them? The Lan clan's old ancestor said. How? Lan Cheng was stunned. With Lu Ming's current strength, are you confident in sending a great emperor? If the great emperor wasn't confident, would you and I do it personally? If we make a move and someone notices, will the celestial arch behind Lu Ming go crazy? Also, everyone in the heaven realm now knows that Lu Ming is an enemy of the Lan family. If Lu Ming is secretly killed, will the others suspect that we did it? I'm afraid that the celestial emperors behind him will also come to our Lan family. The Lan family's ancestor said coldly. Chapter 2380. Lan Cheng's face was deathly pale as he asked, What should we do then, ancestor? Are we just going to sit and wait for death? You're so silly. We're not at the point where we can't rest until one of us dies with Lu Ming. Therefore, we should ask for his forgiveness. We should make peace with him and resolve the grievances between us. This is the best plan. The Lan clan's old ancestor said. We're asking for forgiveness. Lu Ming has killed so many of our people. We're still asking for forgiveness. Lan Cheng shouted in disbelief. Back then, in the Blue Moon City, not only did Lu Ming ruin their plan, but he also killed the Lan family's top genius, Lan Yun, and many of their true emperors in public. And this time, on the Void God Island, Lu Ming had killed many great emperors from the Lan clan. The Lan family had suffered heavy losses. Now the Lan family actually wanted to ask Lu Ming for forgiveness? They found it hard to accept. If we don't do this, do you have any better ideas? The Lan family's ancestor said coldly. Lan Cheng and the others looked confused. Indeed, other than that, did they have any better ideas? Lu Ming is a world-shaking genius with unparalleled destiny. He's the main character who suppresses an era. Such a person has appeared in history before. Once you make an enemy of such a person, you have to kill him before he grows up. Otherwise, you'll be the one who dies. Now Lu Ming has already become powerful, and he has a large number of powerhouses behind him. At this point, it's unwise to make an enemy of him. It's foolish and suicidal. The best strategy now is to resolve the grudges with him. Only then can the Lan family continue to survive. Otherwise, the Lan family will be like those forces that have been destroyed and will disappear forever in the long river of history. Pass on my order. Prepare a valuable gift and ask for Lu Ming's forgiveness. The Lan family's patriarch immediately gave the order. One day, Lu Ming was cultivating when the Hengyu heavenly emperor came to look for him. The Hengyu heavenly emperor looked at Lu Ming with a strange expression. Senior Hengyu, what's the matter? Lu Ming's hair stood on end under the Hengyu heavenly emperor's gaze. Ha ha ha, of course it's something good. Just now, the Lan family and Lan Cheng asked me to pass on a message to you. The Lan family and Yin family want to apologize to you and prepare a generous gift for your forgiveness. They want to resolve their grudges with you. Heavenly Emperor Hengyu said with a smile. What? Lu Ming was stunned when he heard that. His expression turned strange. He did not expect that the Lan family would actually ask for his forgiveness and resolve their grudges. He had thought that the Lan family would secretly send people to kill him. The Lan family's people are quite bold. Lu Ming smiled. It was obvious that the Lan family had already found out about the incident on the Void God Island. They must have been shocked by his improvement speed. Lu Ming's rate of improvement was too terrifying. If this continued, it would not be long before he became an unparalleled figure. The Lan family was afraid. Haha, I didn't expect that the Lan family would have such a day. This is a big matter. Lu Ming, what does he plan to do? Do you accept or not? Heavenly Emperor Hung Yu said with a smile. Since they're so sincere, why not accept it? However, I have conditions. Senior Hung Yu, please help me pass a message to the Lan family. It's fine if they want to apologize and resolve the grudges, but I have two conditions. First, the Lan and Yin families prepare 500 Chaos Gems. Second, the Lan family and the Yin family will announce this to the world. Then in Two World City, they will publicly apologize to me. If you can fulfill these two conditions, I'll agree to it. Otherwise, there's no need to talk. Lu Ming said. To be honest, Lu Ming was not interested in the 500 Chaos Gems. He had more than 20,000 Chaos Gems on him, and more than 20,000 Primordial Chaos Stones. 500 Chaos Gems were just a drop in the bucket. However, 500 Chaos Gems were nothing to Lu Ming. It was enough to make the Lan family and the Yen family bleed. Ha ha ha. I'll tell them your conditions now. One really want to know their expressions. Heavenly Emperor Hung Yu laughed heartily, before turning around to leave. Lan Cheng's furious roar came from the Lan family's main hall. 500 Chaos Gems? Why doesn't he just rob someone? Also, tell the whole world and ask for forgiveness in public. He can dream on. Where will the face of our Lan family be in the future? Lan Cheng's eyes were blood red, like a crazy lion. The Yen clan Heavenly Emperor's expression was not any better. The other members of the Lan family also had ugly expressions, but they didn't say anything. Now did they still have a way out? The strong preyed on the weak, who told them to be weak. Agreed to his request. The Lan clan's ancestor coldly spoke. Old ancestor, Lan Cheng roared. He was extremely unwilling, and his eyes were red. If you want to die, don't drag the Lan family down with you. The Lan family's ancestor shot a cold glance at Lan Cheng. Lan Cheng immediately shut his mouth. His chest heaved up and down rapidly. After a long time, he let out a long sigh. Of course, he didn't want to die. As a heavenly emperor, he had no disasters and tribulations. His lifespan was endless. How could he want to die? Previously, he just couldn't let go of his face. What do you say? The Lan family's patriarch turned to the Yen family's celestial Varch. Whatever the Lan clan does, the Yen clan will do. The Yen clan's celestial Varch sighed. Alright. Spread the word that the Lan family will seek Lu Ming's forgiveness in Two World City 10 days later, and resolve our grudges with him. The Lan family's patriarch gave the order. Then, a piece of news spread like a whirlwind in the heaven realm, causing a great shock. Everyone was dumbfounded. The Lan family and the Yen family actually wanted to apologize to Lu Ming in public and resolve their grudges. An ancient family with an unparalleled expert backing them up had to ask for forgiveness from a junior. This had never happened since ancient times. In the heavenly realm, there seemed to be an earthquake of more than a dozen magnitude in the Tai Ching heavenly region. Everyone was discussing this matter. There were also many people who rushed to Two World City, wanting to witness this with their own eyes. Countless people gathered in Two World City. Soon, the time that both sides agreed on arrived. On this day, a huge public square in Two World City was filled with people. Countless figures had gathered. The human race, as well as the divine beasts and other races, had all transformed into human forms to watch the show. Damn, Lu Ming is really awesome. If I can reach his level, I will die without regrets. In the crowd, the unscrupulous monk chanted the name of Buddha, and said enviously, Master, aren't monks supposed to be emotionless and not care about fame and fortune? Someone asked. That's the other monks, not me. The monk was very thick-skinned. Around them Long Chen, Feng Ling, Ouyang Wushuang, and the others looked at them with disdain. They had also heard the news and came to watch the show. They also gathered with Lu Ming. Lu Ming is here. Someone shouted, and everyone looked in one direction. On the other side, Lu Ming stepped through the air and landed on the square. At this moment, Lu Ming was the focus of everyone's attention. Brother Lu Ming. A figure flashed and Bubbles appeared on Lu Ming's shoulder. After not seeing each other for so many years, Bubbles finally seemed to have grown up a little. She looked like she was 4 or 5 years old and was extremely cute. Chapter 2381. I haven't seen you for many years. Your cultivation has improved quite quickly. Lu Ming touched Bubbles' head. After not seeing each other for many years, Lu Ming realized that Bubbles' cultivation was almost at the peak of the true emperor stage. There were not many people in the younger generation in the heaven realm who could match her cultivation. This cultivation speed was already very terrifying. Of course, it was still incomparable to Dandan. After all, Dandan was the divine turtle from the ancient times. Although Bubbles was one of the top 10 war beasts, she was a newborn and had to rely on herself to comprehend everything. I can't be compared to Brother Lu Ming. The bubble hung on Lu Ming's neck and swayed. The Lan family and the Yen family are here. At this moment, a voice was heard. Many people looked in the same direction. A group of people flew over from the other side. The one leading them was the Lan family's old ancestor, a peerless expert. Behind the Lan family patriarch was the patriarch of the Lan family, Lan Cheng, and the celestial varch of the Yen family. Behind them were some higher-ups of the two families. Almost all the higher-ups of the Lan family and the Yen family were present. They landed on the square and walked toward Lu Ming. The Lan family's patriarch's face was full of smiles. He cupped his fists at Lu Ming and said, "We're late. Brother Lu Ming, please forgive us." "You're welcome," Lu Ming said with a faint smile on his face. "I'll cut to the chase. I'm here today to apologize to little brother Lu Ming. All these years, the Lan family has gone too far in certain aspects and offended little brother Lu Ming. One hope that little brother Lu Ming can forgive us." The Lan clan's ancestor cupped his fists. Although they knew that the Lan family would apologize, many people were still stunned when they saw the patriarch of the Lan family talking to Lu Ming in an affable manner. They thought that they were in a dream. One should know that the Lan family's patriarch was a peerless expert, a 4-star heavenly emperor. Such a person was already standing at the peak with shocking combat strength. But now he was bowing down and apologizing to a junior. It was rare since ancient times. However, Lu Ming did not want to accept the other party's apology so easily. "Oh, I'd like to know, in what way have you offended me? Clan Headland, why don't you help me memorize it?" Lu Ming sneered and looked at Lan City. Lan Cheng's face turned ugly. However, he still squeezed out a smile and stepped forward. The Lan family has indeed offended Brother Lu Ming in some ways in the past. Please forgive us. Forgive? Let me ask you, in what way have you offended me? Tell me clearly, do you not understand? Lu Ming said coldly. Lan Cheng's heart was filled with anger. If any other junior dared to speak to him like this, he would have slapped them to death. However, he did not dare to do so to Lu Ming. He dared to bet that there were many heavenly emperors in the vicinity. If he made a move, he would be the one to be slapped to death. In the end, he could only suppress his anger and answer honestly. Back then, it was the Lan family's prodigy, Lan Yun, who offended little brother Lu Ming and targeted him time and time again. That's why both parties were at odds with each other. Lan Qing answered honestly. What else? Lu Ming continued asking. Also back then, one was blinded by greed. I coveted your indestructible ancient scroll. And I sent people to kill you on the battlefield outside Two World City. Lan Qing gritted his teeth and told him about this matter. He knew that Lu Ming wanted them to apologize in public, because he wanted to make everything public. If he did not say it today, Lu Ming would definitely not let it go. As soon as he said this, the crowd was in an uproar. Everyone suddenly realized. Back then, the Lan family said that Lu Ming killed Heaven Realm powerhouses on the battlefield of true emperors in order to snatch the treasure. All of this was false. It was all because of the Yen family's celestial varch in Lan City, who coveted Lu Ming's indestructible ancient scroll, and wanted to kill him. Despicable, truly despicable. So this is the Lan family's true colors. Despicable scoundrels. We were all deceived by them. I knew it. Lu Ming would not do such a thing. Many people roared and glared at the Lan family. Lan Cheng gritted his teeth. However, he could only swallow this bitter fruit. It was his fault for offending a pervert like Lu Ming. The Lan family has offended you. Please forgive us, brother Lu Ming. The Yan family has offended you. Please forgive us, brother Lu Ming. In Lan City, the Yan family's heavenly emperor cupped his fists and saluted Lu Ming. Brother Lu Ming, this is a small gift from the Lan family and the Yan family. Please accept it. The Lan family's patriarch smiled apologetically and took out a storage ring. With a wave of his hand, the storage ring flew slowly towards Lu Ming. Lu Ming reached out and took it. He scanned it with his spiritual senses and found that there were exactly 500 chaos gems inside. Remember, if people don't offend me, I won't offend them. One can write off the past, but if you offend me again, 111 definitely exterminate your entire family. Lu Ming put away the storage ring and turned to leave. He did not look at the Lan family and Yin family anymore. Huang Ling Long Chun, brother Ouyang. Let's go for a drink. Today's harvest is not bad. Lu Ming looked at Long Chun, Feng Ling, and the rest. 111 drink, 111 definitely drink, and I'll drink to my heart's content. The unscrupulous monk was the first to cry out. What are you drinking, monk? Desolate power looked down on them. Everyone laughed. Amidst the laughter, the group of young people left. Lu Ming bought a large amount of fine wine and came to his residence. He took out a lot of divine beast flesh. Over the years, Lu Ming had hoarded a lot of divine beast flesh and blood, all of which were at least overlord tier. Everyone started to work and soon, the smell of meat filled the air. Everyone was eating meat and drinking wine, chatting about the interesting things they had encountered over the years. During this period, Lu Ming took out a large number of resources and distributed them to everyone. For example, supreme-grade raw gemstones, primordial chaos stones, and chaos stones. The crowd started to reject it because it was too precious. However, when Lu Ming took out a bunch of them, they did not reject him. They accepted some from each of them. These resources could indeed greatly speed up their cultivation. It wasn't until the evening of the second day that the crowd dispersed. I should return to the primordial realm, Lu Ming muttered. He then looked for Heavenly Emperor Hengyu and asked for the way back to the primordial realm. It was relatively easy to go to the primordial realm in the Taiching Heavenly region, as there were many passages. Two World City had such a passage. Alone, Lu Ming and the Hengyu Heavenly Emperor arrived at a valley, which was guarded by powerful cultivators. The space in the valley was extremely unstable. Spatial cracks kept appearing. One could clearly see that behind the spatial cracks was a void passage. The passage was not large, but it was enough to accommodate dozens of people at the same time. Senior Hengyu, take care. Lu Ming cupped his fists and stepped into the space crack. In a flash, he was in the void channel. Lu Ming stepped forward. He seemed to see an endless void passing by him. After an unknown period of time, a bright light appeared in front of him. Lu Ming rushed out and found himself standing in the sky. Below him was the boundless earth. Primordial realm, Lu Ming had returned. Chapter 2382. Lu Ming stood high in the sky and looked around. All he could see were vast mountains. According to Senior Hengyu, this should be Yuan Mountain. I just don't know where it is. Let's find a place with people and ask. At the thought of this, Lu Ming's figure moved and he broke open space. He shuttled through the void at an extremely fast speed. A few minutes later, Lu Ming saw a city. He went in and asked around, only to discover that this was the north of Mount Yuan. Lu Ming found a large force nearby, and borrowed their teleportation array to head to one of the 9 great holy lands of Mount Yuan, the Ancient Moon Holy Land. It did not take long for Lu Ming to return to the Ancient Moon Holy Land. When Lu Ming walked out of the teleportation array outside the Ancient Moon Sanctuary, he immediately caused a commotion, and was recognized by the people nearby. Lu Ming was too famous in the Ancient Moon Holy Land. Back then, Lu Ming had joined forces with more than 10 powerful forces in the Ancient Moon Holy Land to destroy the Wind Clan in one fell swoop. There were also the Sirius Tower, the Golden Crow Clan, the Wan family and other powerful forces, causing the power structure of the ancient Moon Holy Land to reshuffle and changing the situation. Lu Ming was well known in the ancient Moon Holy Land. However, after that, Lu Ming disappeared. Now, after so many years, Lu Ming's reappearance naturally caused a stir. Not long after, all the forces in the ancient Moon Holy Land knew that Lu Ming had returned. At this moment, Lu Ming had already arrived at the Dian Elixir Palace and met with Uncle Kong. After not seeing him for so many years, Uncle Kong seemed to have aged even more. His face was filled with wrinkles. Uncle Kong's cultivation base should be at the 2-star Great Emperor realm, but according to him, he had been seriously injured in the last heavenly tribulation, and his origin had been injured. He had yet to recover, so his battle prowess was only slightly stronger than a 1-star Great Emperor, but not by much. Otherwise, the Emperor of the Daluo Heaven sect wouldn't have dared to be so arrogant in front of Uncle Kong. And now, there weren't many years left until Uncle Kong's next heavenly tribulation. With Uncle Kong's current condition, he wouldn't be able to pass it. Hallmaster, your cultivation. The moment Uncle Kong saw Lu Ming, he felt that Lu Ming was extraordinary. Although Lu Ming's cultivation base was only at the peak of the true emperor stage, his qi and blood were extremely thick. He was like a prehistoric giant beast, giving off a terrifying feeling. Even Uncle Kong could feel the pressure. This caused Uncle Kong to be extremely shocked, but at the same time, he was overjoyed. The more powerful Lu Ming was, the happier he would be. Uncle Kong, I went to the heaven realm a while ago and had a fortuitous encounter. I cultivated an immemorial body cultivator, and my fleshly body is now equivalent to the Great Emperor realm. Lu Ming gave a simple explanation, and Uncle Kong was even more delighted. Uncle Kong, the Mu clan hasn't come looking for trouble all these years, has it? Lu Ming asked. Back then, a great emperor from the Mu clan had died here, and he had always been afraid that the Mu clan would come looking for trouble. The Mu family is here to find trouble and avenge their emperor. However, a powerful force in the Divine Destiny land has intervened. The Mu family has been holding back all these years, Uncle Kong explained. Lu Ming nodded. The Mu family. It's fine if they don't come. But if they don't give up, I can only make a trip to the Mu family. With that, a storage ring appeared in Lu Ming's hand. He handed it to Uncle Kong and said, Uncle Kong, this is for you. This is. Uncle Kong took it and scanned it with his spiritual sense. He couldn't help but widen his eyes. A fragment of the Great Path. This is a fragment of the Great Path. Hallmaster, it's a waste to give such a treasure to an old man like me. You should keep it for yourself. Uncle Kong quickly passed the storage ring to Lu Ming. Lu Ming smiled. Uncle Kong, please accept it. One have a lot of Dao fragments. One have enough for myself. However, Uncle Kong still wanted to return the fragment to Lu Ming. But Lu Ming was determined. In the end, Uncle Kong accepted it. Lu Ming gave Uncle Kong a total of 18 great Dao fragments, which was enough for Uncle Kong to break through to the 3-star Great Emperor, or even the 4-star Great Emperor. As long as Uncle Kong's cultivation broke through, the injuries in his body would naturally heal, and he would be able to pass the next heavenly tribulation with 100% certainty. After that, he chatted with Uncle Kong for a while. The next day, Lu Ming went to meet some old friends. Lu Ming still had some friends in the ancient Moon Holy Land, such as Mu Qingxue, Yi Dongfang, and so on. Their talents were limited and they did not go to the heaven realm. Lu Ming stayed in the ancient Moon Holy Land for more than 10 days to talk about martial arts with his good friends. With Lu Ming's current realm and understanding of the laws, he was unfathomable to Yi Dongfang and the rest. Lu Ming's casual advice could enlighten them, and they benefited a lot. More than 10 days later, Lu Ming left some resources for Yi Dongfang and the rest, then bade farewell to Uncle Kong and left the ancient Moon Sanctuary, heading towards the Tsang state. The most important thing on his return trip was to return to the Azure continent and take a look at the Divine Wilderness continent. After that, he would move his family and friends to another cultivation place. A few days after Lu Ming returned to the ancient Moon Holy Land, the news spread to the Hung family and He family of the Heaven Emperor City, as well as the Daluo Heaven sect of the ancient Sun Holy Land. The He family and the Hung family had been mortal enemies, but now they had gathered together to discuss something. Emperor He, Emperor Hung, and Emperor Tianluo were sitting in a great hall of the Hung family. You too, Lu Ming has disappeared for many years. I'm afraid it's not good for us to see him now that he has suddenly reappeared, said the emperor of the Hung family with a serious expression. Lu Ming can't become a celestial varch. He's not afraid of himself. However, it's troublesome that he can control the celestial thearch's physical body, the Tianluo emperor said. He had seen the power of the heavenly emperor's corporeal body before. Even the two-star great emperor of the Mu family had been killed. Then what should we do? Back then, we all wanted to kill him. We are already mortal enemies with Lu Ming. He will definitely not let us off, the great emperor of the He clan said. The three of them had a serious look on their faces. For a moment, they didn't know what to do. The three of them were one-star great emperors, but Lu Ming controlled the celestial thearch's physical body, and could even kill two-star great emperors. Even if they joined forces, they would still be in danger. At this moment, someone outside reported that there was important news. The great emperor of the Hung family had asked that person to come in. Master, young Master Xinghe is back. An old man came in and said excitedly. Xinghe is back. Hurry please. Emperor Hung was overjoyed. The Hung Xing River led to the heaven realm, and he had been gone for decades. Now that he had returned, he didn't know what realm he would be at. The emperor of the Hung clan was filled with anticipation. The three of them went out together and soon saw the galaxy. A person from the Star River stood with his hands behind his back, giving off a feeling of superiority. The three great emperors are here, just nice. When he saw the three great emperors, Xing Chen only nodded slightly. He no longer had the respect he had in the past. He had seen too many great emperors in the heaven realm, including many heavenly emperors. Naturally, he did not have that kind of respect for great emperors. The three emperors of the Hung family were not surprised. When Lu Ming saw the galaxy, he was shocked. True Emperor, Xinghe, you've broken through to the true Emperor realm? The Hung clan emperor said excitedly. I just broke through not long ago. Xinghe nodded with a faint sense of pride on his face. Good haha. The emperor of the Hung family laughed and was extremely excited. On the side, the great emperors of the He family and the Tianluo emperor were filled with envy. To reach the true emperor realm at such a young age, such talent was simply astonishing. In the future, breaking through to the great emperor realm was a sure thing, or even higher. How could people not be envious of the Hung family for having such a genius? Chapter 2383. Xinghe, I son Songqiong didn't come back with you? The Tianluo emperor said with some anticipation. He was looking forward to seeing his grandson Luo Kangqiang's level. Luo Songqiong is dead, said the Hung Xing River. What? Emperor Tianluo's heart trembled as his pupils contracted. The next moment, his eyes turned red as he growled. Songqiong is dead? How was that possible? How did he die? He was killed by Lu Ming. In the galaxy. He did not lie about this. Back then, in the Yaoguang ancient city, Luo Songqiong was indeed killed by Lu Ming. Lu Ming, Lu Ming, Lu Ming again. Emperor Tianluo roared. His eyes were bloodshot and filled with endless killing intent. Lu Ming, the two talents of the Daluo Heaven sect, had both died in his hands. He had also been injured because of Lu Ming. Damn it, damn it. The emperor of Tianluo roared in his heart. Of course, he would not care why Luo Songqiong and the others died at Lu Ming's hands. Today, all of you are gathered here because of Lu Ming, right? One heard that Lu Ming has returned to the primordial realm, right? The galaxy continued. Return to the primordial realm? What did that mean? Could it be that Lu Ming has been to the heaven realm before? Emperor Heng's expression changed. Not bad. Xinghe nodded. How is that possible? Didn't they say that Lu Ming can't become a divine emperor, and can't go to the heaven realm? Why did he go to the heaven realm? The great emperors of the Hung clan and the He clan were extremely astonished. I don't know how he got to the heaven realm, but he did. Otherwise, how could Luo Songqiong die in his hands? Moreover, Lu Ming has already become a divine emperor in the heaven realm. The river channel of the eternal star had a gloomy expression as he said this. What? Lu Ming has become a martial emperor. How is that possible? He has mastered multiple laws and different ultimate maxims at the same time. Even the celestial Tharch said that he can't become a martial emperor. How can he? The three heavenly emperors from the Hung clan cried out in shock. Not only has he become a great emperor, but Lu Ming's current strength is extremely shocking. He can already fight a great emperor. Xing He said coldly. Hiss hiss hiss. This time the emperors from the Hung family, He family, and Tianluo all gasped in shock. Not only had Lu Ming become a great emperor, but he could also fight against a great emperor. What kind of freak was he? Their hearts were in turmoil, and they could not calm down. What to do? Emperor Hung and the others started to get anxious. The more powerful Lu Ming was, the more dangerous it would be for them. Did Lu Ming come back this time to find trouble with them? The more they thought about it, the more anxious they became. In fact, the galaxy was still hiding some things. For example, Lu Ming's combat strength. This was because there were rumors recently that Lu Ming's combat strength was already able to kill a 4-star great emperor. The Hung family's great emperor, and the rest were afraid that they would be frightened by such terrifying strength. Lu Ming is too abnormal. If he continues to grow, we'll be the ones to die in the future. We have to get rid of him before he's ridiculously strong. The eyes of the galaxy flickered with a cold light. Get rid of him? How? Now that Lu Ming's combat strength is comparable to a great emperor, and he has the celestial Thearch's physical body, how can we get rid of him with our strength? The emperor of the Hung clan said anxiously. Emperor He and Emperor Tianluo were the same. They all wanted to kill Lu Ming. However, they could not do it with their abilities. We can find help. Isn't Lu Ming a mortal enemy of the Mu family in the divine fated land? We can use the Mu family's power to get rid of Lu Ming. In the galaxy, their eyes lit up. Right. Back then, the Mu family sent a great emperor to the ancient moon sanctuary to kill him. Unfortunately, he was killed by Lu Ming with the celestial emperor's body. Moreover, the Mu family's peerless genius, Mu Yang, also died at Lu Ming's hands. I'm afraid the Mu family wants to get rid of Lu Ming more than we do. If we contact the Mu family, they will definitely take action. Emperor Tianluo said excitedly. Luo Tsangqiong was killed by Lu Ming. Emperor Tianluo's killing intent towards Lu Ming was extremely strong. Does Lu Ming have any backing in the heaven realm? Will he cause any trouble after killing him? Emperor Hung was more meticulous. Don't worry. I have a master in the heaven realm. He is a strong man in the heavenly emperor realm. It is not convenient for him to take action, but he will help us clean up the mess. Nothing will happen. In the galaxy. What? Xinghe, you've taken a celestial emperor as your master? Good haha. The emperor of the Hung family laughed and was extremely excited. The great emperors of the He family and Tianluo could only be jealous. Since the master of the Eternal Star River was the celestial Tharch, they were much more confident. They began to make preparations and contacted the Mu clan to discuss how to kill Lu Ming. That night, the Hungxing River came to a secret place in the Heavenly Emperor City, and met an old man. The old man was the master of the Star River, a Heavenly Emperor powerhouse. In the Heaven Realm, this old man was known as the 9-Demon Celestial Emperor. Is everything done? The 9-Demon Celestial Emperors asked. It's done. The great emperors of the Hung family, He family, and Daoyuo Heaven sect will join forces with the Mu family to kill Lu Ming. In the galaxy. That's good. The 9-Demon Celestial Emperors nodded in satisfaction. Master, Lu Ming's performance on the Void God Island was truly shocking. With his current strength, even with the help of the Mu family, it would not be easy to kill Lu Ming. In the galaxy, I didn't intend for them to kill Lu Ming. I just wanted them to test if there's a celestial Tharch following Lu Ming. If there's no celestial Tharch, I'll kill him myself. The 9-Demon Celestial Emperor said, a cold light flashing in his eyes. Master, there are more than a dozen celestial Thearchs behind Lu Ming. Even if we kill him, I'm afraid those celestial Thearchs won't let us off. The Hung family will probably be destroyed as well," said the galaxy, a little conflicted. "Foolish, still so soft-hearted even now. How can there be no sacrifice if you want to achieve great things? Is the Hung family more important, or is your own future more important?" The 9 demons celestial emperor berated. Xing's expression changed, revealing a hint of ruthlessness. "I understand, master. Yes. In order to accomplish great things, a little sacrifice is inevitable. Lu Ming is blessed with great fortune. Along the way, he must have encountered countless fortuitous encounters. As long as I kill him and obtain his fortuitous encounters, I can extract the indestructible ancient scroll from his soul. Then the 2 of us can find a place to hide. Who will be able to find us? We'll hide and cultivate, and we'll fight to the death with the evil god tribe and the heaven realm. As long as we master our divine arts and possess unrivaled strength, no matter which side controls this world, we'll have a place to stand," the 9 demons celestial emperor said, the cold light in his eyes even more intense. "Master, disciple will listen to master's orders." Xing Chen's eyes were also filled with anticipation. "Lu Ming, all your fortuitous encounters will be mine." The galaxy roared in its heart. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.